Hello, gang.
I'm kind
Hi,
of
Ed.
curious to
Cat.
hear about all his good news that he's got.
Yeah, really.
Let me
Hey, I
spotlight
got,
you
I
here,
got, I
Eddie.
got. I was shocked 2 days ago. I did.
I hear about it.
The woman was plotting behind my back. She really was. Monday. Oh yeah, it was Monday. Went and bought a new recliner for a living room, and we were sitting there, and I said, I guess this expense would offset, what, would be paid for out of my budget from SWAT. And she says, "Oh no, we're going to SWAT."
Ah,
She was all the way across the room and said it as she went around the corner, and I'm thinking, what the hell? Whoa, wait. And she came right around the corner and she said, "You did hear what I said, right?" And
Yeah.
and then I had a laugh, and I said, "Don't play with me, lady." And she says, "No, we've been talking about it, and because the cyst is under control, and we get this done and that done. No, Aaron thinks I can take care of you for 4 or 5 days, and we have a contact there, so you can go." And I mean, I did not blink. I had a hotel. I had a hotel room. It took that long. Uh,
You said that, and you were on your smartphone making reservations, weren't you?
oh yeah, but uh, I knocked on the table and they got her attention.
Good for you, Ed.
But yeah, yeah, it's so great. It's been 5 years. It's been 5 years since been there, and we kept talking about she really doesn't want to herself to go because there's nothing for her to do. That's what she thinks. That won't happen. She'll be there. She'll be raising hell and taking names later on. So
Right.
she'll have fun, and she's got to take care of the driving and all that stuff. So, it's a gift, and it really is. It's special. I mean, she got me here crying, so she was taking my picture and sending to my kids. She said, "Is your daddy crying over our trip?" Oh man,
tears of
Glad you can
excitement.
make it. Yeah, glad you can make it and glad you're in shape enough to make it.
yeah.
Yes, me
Fabulous,
too.
Hey,
Miss
Eddie,
Betty. Fabulous.
Eddie, you're in charge of slapping them stickers on them lathes now.
Oh yeah, and that came up because we had somebody coming in um to clean up the house, and I was putting things away, and I had to roll the stickers here on the couch next to me, and I was telling her, I said, "We're not going to put that away too far because I got to come up with, I was thinking Billy and Jim and Tim Hatch and a few of the other guys who ship these stickers to. Ha! They hand them to you."
Yeah, save the postage.
Yeah.
No, I can see Eddie out in the parking lot on his scooter, slapping the stickers on every car in the parking lot.
I've been in trouble for something like that once before. Like, I'll do it again. But it's like a dream come true, guys. Gals, it really is. So what I wanted to do, she looked, she said it, and we talked about it, and we went off to have lunch or something later on in the day. Oh, and out the house cleaners came. We went around to the library, and she said, "Okay." Cindy just got back from Dallas last weekend from a road trip with seeing her godchild become a doctor, finish his residency and all this stuff. And so she had made the trip back, driving back with her sister. And she says, "Well, my sister made it back from Dallas in 7 hours and something minutes." I said, "No, you can't do that." And she said, "Oh yeah, you got to ride with my sister." No, I don't want to ride with your sister. Not if you do that 9-hour drive in 7. No.
I wouldn't want the fine if she got stopped by.
Oh, they believe her sister used to work for a federal judge, and her brother-in-law was the head of the senior NCO of the Air Force Reserve at one time, and they think they have stroke, and they don't worry about that. Really, the whole family's maniac drivers, and so like if I get in trouble, I'll get out of it. But Cindy, we'll be in a 70-mile-an-hour zone, and she'll be at 65 in a right-hand lane. It's going on. There's no long lane hogging or anything else. She has realized a little late in life that road rage can kill you, even if you don't want to participate. You get the crazies out there that believe that lane belongs to them, and if you take it away, they're going to shoot you or something. So she got really good. I got her to stop blowing a horn. Really, she was one of those people that every time somebody got in front of, and all that. No, I don't care. It's just a road. We're going to get there no matter what. And it's not a competition. And she's taken a long time for her to adopt that. And she said, well, doesn't it make you mad? Well, it upsets you a little bit, but you got to worry about the people that don't have any sense. So I'm safe as can be with it. We're driving with her, and we're taking the 15-year-old puppy with us. And so my job is to babysit the dog in the back seat. You see, if I'm in the back seat, I can't be watching her drive. I won't get nervous. So I got my iPad and my wireless device, and I can sit back there and just cruise all day. So I'm looking forward to it. Really, I've gotten like 300 email replies from people. I said, I'm gonna wait there. So, hey, there's gonna be a crowd of us there, and I can't wait to be sitting with you folks having a lunch or standing and raising hell, letting everybody know the Worldwide Woodturning is here, and we had to stay. We're 5 years old, and an idea that was conceived right there. Standing right there at Ruth Now's booth at Worldwide at that spot. That's where we're going to start. That's where we're going to come back and celebrate it again. I'm so happy for that, and to see some of you guys and the demonstrators. I'm lucky. I'm going to run across Duxbury and Scott Hampton's demonstrating there, and a few others. It's really be good. I really enjoyed this. But it's one of those things, when you put it on your wish list. I'm not calling it a bucket list, all right? It's a wish list. One of my granddaughters said, "Is that on your bucket list, big guy?" No, I'm not. I'm not doing the bucket thing. I wish I could take the girls have to go back to school by that time. I wish one of my granddaughters could come along with us. They would love the exposure to people, to see people loving what they do. And it's coming into a function like this. It's not for monetary value. You're not going to make a buck there. I mean, you're going there because it's something you love to do. People who love to see, be around, associate with, and everything. And I was talking to the youngest one the other day about, the camaraderie that goes on at SWAT. She says, well, who puts it on? I said, about 31, 32 woodturning clubs get together and they create this thing. Yeah, but I mean, the company that puts it on. And she almost had a hard time accepting that there isn't a corporation or a group that's making a buck off putting this thing together. That's hard to conceive to people in today's world, is that, it's not about the almighty dollar. It's about what we love. And that's why I've always went back. It is all about what we love. I mean, look at the guys that are there. Some of those guys have been volunteering there for 25 years. Mm-hmm. And every time I go, they're recognizing another guy that's got 25, 30 years helping SWAT from when it was the Turner two. I went to a Texas Turner two before it became SWAT. And some of the same guys are still around, and you still see them, and they still busy, still working, still going at it. And what I like is they bring in people from our world to demonstrate. I do believe that the talent in woodturning is in woodturning. There's no hierarchy of you have to be a big recognized name or have a flowing background of everything before your talent can be shown. I mean, we run across some really good turners here at Worldwide Woodturners. I mean, look, Matt Harbor is almost, be nice, Matt, be nice, almost world-class turn.
Thank you,
We
Eddie.
can teach.
You're,
Now,
you're very kind.
I want to say, Matt, the piece that I saw in today's newsletter, it kind of hurt my eyes a little bit.
You want to know how I did it?
No, I got brain damage.
I cheated, Eddie.
Okay, all right.
I used my Survey spiraling tool and then just carved along the lines that I made with the spiraling tool.
Now you see, that's what I would have done. But really, we see those demonstrating. Doug Miller's thing with the chalice and the long thin stem. I see people have copied it. They didn't get as thin or as tall or as long, but they took his technique and ran with it. And that's what happens here. We see the technique, we take your technique, and this is blessed. We love it. We don't say, oh, don't copy this because I am the master. Don't use this term. We don't do that. We say, hey, you see what I can do? Can you do better? And I love that. I have been at demonstrations where people will say, please don't copy this. I'm trying to make a living selling these. I went, no, that's not what this is about. It's, hey, take what I got, run with it, play with it. And I saw pieces in the newsletter today, pretty good newsletter. It's world class. There's none other like it in the world. And really, nothing like it. This is something that came up in this club, by this club, for this club, and it's worldwide. There's nothing like that anywhere, and it's you folks that do it. I saw pieces there that are dead copies of technique. See the term technique that has been exposed and trained and shown and shared right here. And that's what I love. I mean, you can take a simple slicing cut. I say simple slicing cut. Pardon me, marks alike. I said simple. It's not a simple slicing cut. And you take a slicing cut and make a nice smooth slice off a piece. See the piece Doug Miller did with the chalice, or a little goblet of the thims. You can't do that gouging out that center. You can't gouge it out. I know they call it a gouge tool you use, but you can't use that by poking it in there and tearing away wood. He didn't do that. Why? It's on our rewind. It's on our chat on our website right now, the world's greatest website. If you look at it, he is making slicing cuts all the way through. In fact, he's using the tool, 3/8 gouge, I believe it is, or maybe it's larger, but he's making it using the tool that's got the marks grind on it, where he rounded off the back. You hand grind it, no jig, but you dress off the back of it. And what you're doing is make it like a lady's fingernail, exactly like a lady's fingernail. And you're removing the piece that you don't use. What do you don't use? Everything but the tip. You don't use anything but the tip. And he's making it sharp like that. And he's making those little slicing thing, those little cute little furrow. You saw them. It wasn't chunks of wood coming off. It was cute little furrows coming off. Mark, Doug showed you how to do that. Now that is a technique that can go on any turning you have. And the more you use it, the better your work will be. He didn't start sanding with 80 grit paper. He barely sanded with 220 grit paper, just knocked the fuzz off. It's amazing what we can do with that. I saw this week that Doug Rowe, Rowe, the first sergeant, went over to visit with Mark Soleil this week when he was in that part of the world. I really hope some of that grumpy of Mark rubbed off on Rowe. Really, that'd be a good share. Because Rowe just seems to be too happy all the time. I mean, a little grumpy would help. But he was having fun. He was in the shop full of wood, and knowing Doug Rowe came out of there with some nice toys to play with. That's two peas in a pod. As Mark Slade does anything to help anybody, and Mark Slade's got a great attitude, and he does the same thing. And they both love to have a good time. So, hey, two peas in a pod right there. It was great. We got some great things coming up. Don't forget the program. It's July. Patriot is the July game. If you're turning, think about it. It's 4th of July. Tomorrow is the 4th of July. If you do nothing else for 4th of July, thank a serviceman, former serviceman, current serviceman, relatives of a serviceman, or the servicemen in your life, because they are responsible for your freedom. Regardless of what anybody in any political party says anywhere else in the world, the servicemen in your life protect your freedom. And a lot of them gave up a whole lot of it. They might not have died, but they gave up a lot. And today, in this world, it'd be hard to find some millennials that would give up that kind of freedom. But they do. And they protect our habitat, they protect our life, they protect us. So thank a member of the military for their service. And it's not a flag waving thing, I'm damn proud of it. I know I got a bunch of veterans out there, and I'm damn proud of every damn one of you. And I believe we did what was necessary when it was, and I'm very proud of it. I believe I tipped my toe in it, and came back a little bit of athletics foot, so I'm all right. So, a little bit at the top of the hour. Are we ganging up some gallery items already, guys?
We
As a
do.
matter
We
of fact,
do.
we are. Al, Matt, you want to start with Al and go from there?
Yeah, I do, but Al doesn't have his video alive. So,
I
there it
was
is.
kinda gonna
All right.
give Al a heads up.
I do.
There's Al.
I'm here. How's
Yep,
everybody?
you're up.
I'll tell you, everything you said, Ed, about Mark, when he had that video that he demonstrated, that really made me pay attention. And I believe I've done a whole lot better listening to what he had to say. That's that I really wanted to say that. That was nice to have me think about that.
Yeah.
That was good. Now getting it to it first, Ruby went and she challenges me.
Oh boy.
So
That is cute.
no, Ruby, you know what? You have to think about it. This is July, and there aren't any cones on the trees now.
Well,
So-
they're falling off the trees up here. You'll have to come visit.
Believe me, I would love to. I had to fight a squirrel for this one.
I like your take on them.
No, I like you showing me. So funny. Now the wood is from the pine tree that the cone came from.
That's
It
good.
was a blue spruce. See a little bit of blue that's in the pine.
So you had to cut the tree down in order to get the pine cone.
Yeah, this one was way up top high. Now, Martin, Martin, are you on?
Yeah, I'm here.
Boom.
Well done.
That's serious.
Very
Cracking.
nice, Al.
Natural edge cannon.
I scorched it a little bit just to make it look like it was like used all the time, you know.
There you go.
Nice.
Nice effect.
I'm
And
sorry.
bang on the date.
Always
Good job,
inspired
Al.
by somebody. Always inspired by somebody here. I've been working on this vase about probably 2-3 weeks. It's a crotch. The wood is a I think it's peak, and it was like I grabbed it 5 different ways. I grabbed it from the bottom. This is all center, top, bottom. So I spun it that way, and then I grabbed it this way, and I spun it that way. And then again, I grabbed it again way down here, center, and I turned it that way. And it was like, well, okay, I went that far with it. Then I hit it here. So I spun it this way to make it flat. And well, the opposite on the other side, same thing to make it flat. It's all
That is
hollow.
nice.
Everything is hollow. Within 6 inches, 6 inches. Oh, don't tell me I just broke that. It took
Yeah.
me so long to glue that in there. But it's a vase.
That's
Yeah,
pretty
well
cool.
done.
Very creative, Al.
A little gift for
Well
somebody.
done, Al.
That's got to go in the newsletter, Al. We got to see that in the newsletter.
That
Come on.
definitely needs to make it into the newsletter. Absolutely.
No, I'm going to blame Martin for this. I looked at his bobbies, and when I made that last week, I had a little hat. So
Talk a little bit. There you go. Oh, there you go.
Looks good, Al.
All right.
Yes,
Looks
Do you
even
have a
better
couple
cocked to the
Chevalier?
side like that.
that is awesome.
there's more bug holes in this than there is wood. Believe me.
It's just
Oh,
where it's aerated for the warm weather.
It's
It
aerated.
looks great.
It's got
Looks like,
character.
it looks
Albert,
like,
is that all one piece? Is that all one piece?
Yeah,
yeah, one piece.
Sweet.
Yeah.
It's
Block
just
of
a
wood.
it's a wide rim bowl.
Yeah, that's all. Just look at it that way. It's probably about the only kind of bowl I'll make.
That's pretty
But,
cool.
You better have
Yeah, it is.
fumigated.
That's cool.
I was just goofing around. Anyways, again, like I say every week, thank you so much, Eddie. Thank you much for this place. I enjoy coming Wednesdays. I look forward to Wednesdays every week. Thank you. I hope everyone has a good evening.
Thank you, Al. Boy, it's good. Yeah, I love that. He looks like Maurice Chevalier with that thing on, you know, a little cock to the side.
I thought I did too.
Maurice Dawson, that's his name.
Just needs his cane, little black cane.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what I was. Exactly.
Yeah.
Everybody have a good
With the
evening.
little with the J hook for the handle. Next project, you need to make that to go along with it, Al.
and a cane.
Yep, that's what I'm saying.
Cane. A dancing
The J
cane. with
hook
a hat.
cane.
That would be like the way Dick Van Dyke would. He'd have a hat and a cane and do his dancing thing. Everybody have a good evening.
All right, Al.
Thank you. Good work.
Right.
Next up is Ruby.
Okay. I have nothing as spectacular as all of Al's. I went into the garage and I found this piece of wood attached to a faceplate, so I figured I'd better do something with it because I needed the faceplate. I have absolutely no idea what the wood is. It's very hard. It's got to be an exotic wood. It was very brittle as well, but it turned out fairly well. It's for a small bowl, it's quite hefty. So if anyone has any idea what the wood might be, I'd appreciate it. As you can see, it's fairly dark. I really like the shape though. The lines are nice and clean on it. So
Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
Nice job.
The grain is
Pretty wood.
Yeah,
it's really, yeah, it's gorgeous.
Well, when I looked at it attached to the faceplate, I had no idea whatsoever what the grain or anything looked like, because the whole thing was just covered with junk. So once it got turned down and sanded up, it started to look pretty nice. And that's it for me.
I
You
would,
can copy that, by the way, Al, if you want.
I would, it's really pretty. I would guess maybe Ipe, but the shavings would have been quite yellow.
Yeah, Ipe is darker too.
Oh, is it? Well, I turned some that wasn't a whole lot darker. But
Just
maybe.
in my experience. So, yep. There's a suggestion in chat that it could be pecan too, but I don't know enough about that.
That's-
So
No,
That's
I've
too
turned
dark for pecan.
pecan, and it's much lighter than this.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
pecan.
I did harvest some Kentucky coffee tree wood last weekend, and I rough turned 3 bowls out of that. And it's a cross between red oak and an ash, and very, very heavy and dense and very, very hard wood, but it turned great. But you'll have to wait a year to see those because they're in the drying process.
Okay,
So go ahead.
I'm waiting a year.
Yep. What I do is turn them to about an inch, inch and a quarter thick. And then I coat them with a wax sealer, and I put them in the garage for a year. Then I put them back on the lathe, and when I turn them, they're finished moving and they stay pretty well and don't crack and split on me.
Great idea.
Nice.
So next.
next up is Ron.
I am here.
Yep, we got you.
This is just and I'm not sure, I think it's elm that has died, and I just use a Dremel. I cut the lines in on lathe and then just use a Dremel to do the spots on it.
That's cool. Very nice.
You get a shot of the grain. You get a shot of the grain there, Ron. Is there where I could see the grain? Yeah, it does look like elm. Yeah.
I don't know. It was out in the shed, and I picked it up, and it's really light, so I thought, yeah, we'll use that.
Or poplar.
Then the other thing I have was inspired by you, Matt.
Oh, good.
A piece of cherry. It had cracks in it, so it's like, okay, we'll just do a little power engraving and hide the cracks.
Works for me.
So that's all I have.
Very nice.
Very cool. We're gonna jump Paul so he can go to sleep if he needs to. Up to you, Paul.
Hiya. I do. Yeah, there's not something I've turned I've got to show you. It's something I've made to improve my organization in the workshop. So I'm just going to try and do a share screen. I took a couple of pictures before I came up here, so I'm just going to share that. So yeah, I've made a rack to go in my workshop to put all my Morse taper centers and chucks, etc. in.
Wow. Very nice.
I had them sort of rolling around in the cupboard for years and thought it was about time I got organized. So I made that out of some inch ply, and that's accommodated them all with a couple of spaces. But I've got a few Morse taper 3 for one on my lathes, and most of the rest of them are Morse taper 2. So it's a bit of a mixture there. But that's the front view, and hang on, go back to this one. That one's a side view.
There you go.
So I mean, I did a drawing on the computer to get there, to try and compress it as much as possible to take up as little space as possible. So that's why they're all angled at different angles, because it fitted together and used less wood that way.
There you go.
I did actually do a drawing of that. So if anyone wants the drawing, let me know and I can send you a copy.
Hey, cool. Paul, could we just put it on the web? Could we put the drawing on the website?
Yeah, sure. I could email it over and you put it on the website. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks. It looks good.
What does it fit on, Paul? It's fitting against something?
It's my plan was to put it on the corner of a metal cabinet. So I put some magnets on the corners that you can see there. There's 3 verticals, one at each end and one in the middle. And I thought I'll put a magnet on each, but I don't think the magnets were big enough to take that amount of weight. So I was a bit dubious about that staying put. So in the end, I drilled a hole through the back of the cabinet, and it's got 1 screw holding it to the cabinet.
Oh, okay. Very nice.
I decided to go for the belt and braces method, but actually, if you take that off, that will stand up on its own. So it could have been a freestanding rack that I could have put on a shelf somewhere. But I like the idea of using a bit of unused space there. I mean, most of my walls have got either cupboards or racks or shelves or something on them, so I didn't have a lot of wall space to put that. But I thought on the end of that cabinet, it was dead space in a way, so I thought I'd just make use of it.
Paul, that would be great in the newsletter too. If you could email me a couple of photos of that, that's awesome.
Yeah, we'll do. And the other picture I
you.
didn't mean to show you, but I'll show you that one anyway. We were sorting out one of our cupboards yesterday. We're doing an open studios next week. So, my wife and myself, she does enameling, I obviously do the wood turning, and this one was a wooden leg I made for my son when he was about 6. He went to school in a pirate outfit. One of their sort of costume days, dressing up days, or whatever it was. I can't remember the exact reason, but he came home one day and said, "I need a wooden leg for my pirate outfit." So I made that. And there's the other, sort of looking at it from the other end. I carved it so he could literally kneel on that with his leg, and from the front it looked genuine. So yeah, we found it in the cupboard after, I mean, it must have been, I reckon 18 years ago I made that.
That's great, Paul.
Great fun.
Yeah, it's amazing what you find in the cupboard, isn't it?
Yeah.
What is in this house?
That's not easy to make either.
No, it's a spigot joint at the bottom of that. I effectively made a bowl and a spindle and jointed the two with a spigot. So the bottom of that, the knee cup bowl part, if whatever you want to call it, it's quite thick at the bottom to allow a decent sort of thickness for that spigot for strength.
Yeah.
And then I think we lashed up some sort of strap to keep it attached to his leg, which we don't still have. But yeah, it did the job. Yeah,
very nice.
It got used for one day, and that was it.
Well, it held up.
We still got it.
Good stuff.
Yeah, but you've got the memory ever since.
That's right.
Yep, and it was the process that was fun, working with him to make it happen. That's cool.
Yeah, but I think we've got grandkids about that sort of age, so I think I'll pass it on to the grandkids, see if they want to do the same.
There you go.
Looks awesome. It's a bit too short for me to stand up with.
Still got the outfit.
Nice, Paul.
Still got the pirate outfit?
I haven't, no, I'm afraid.
But all right, I'm up next. This is the bowl that Eddie was talking about.
That's the thing.
Okay. Nice. So, like I said, I just used the Sorby spiraling tool and cut the grooves, and then followed it up, just made them wider and so on with the grinder, and followed it over the corner. So
that is way smaller than it looks in the newsletter.
Yeah, it's like
six. Matt, when you say grinder, what do you mean? You're talking about
Dremel, rotary tools.
Okay. That's pretty.
So yeah, I just widened things out. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was sort of a test for a bigger piece that has a home. So yeah, I've been doing some practice and stuff. So I made one of these, and then I made one of these.
Oh, that's cool.
Those are my
you guys have seen. I've done that demo here, and then I made a thin stem goblet out of oak that I went through when I was sanding. So
I had one of those.
Which is good. Yeah, I have a bunch of them. So, yeah. So, and then I was working on something here. You guys have seen this piece that I've carved.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's it. So I have, it's been sitting in the shop for like a week or two, and I've been looking at it, trying to figure out how to do the painting and stuff. So I did some practices. So I've got chameleon flakes and one of the grooves, and I tried a bunch of different things. And the chameleon flakes I like, and I think that I'm looking for a sort of a wash. And the thing that worked the best so far is the intrinsic colors, the water-based dyes from Martin Sabin Smith. Yeah, those folks. Yep. So I have some more exploration to do before I'm ready to actually start painting the piece, but that's where I am on that. So that's how I practice is I go and I carve a small bit of it and then start trying to paint it and stuff. So
there you go.
I don't know.
Nice, Mark, Matt.
Thank you.
That piece looks so nice the way it is. I wish you'd just put a spray finish on it and leave it alone.
I have
That's a
had
good
several people
option,
on.
too.
I have had several people on Facebook say do that, but it's a little too bland, and I want to add something. And I thought a little bit about going in there and maybe highlighting some of it with a wood burner too. But I'm not sure. I want to do. I cut the smaller sections here with these bits in here. I cut these with the full intention of painting them, dry brushing them. So I do want to try to do that, but I also, I have a bunch of different ideas, so I'll come up with something. So
I disagree. I don't think it's bland at all. I think it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
It reminds me of the
Finish
seashore.
on it, and that'll add a little color, and it'll be fine.
Okay.
Matt, reminds me of the sea.
I'm gonna go
Reminds you of
100%.
what, Sue?
It reminds me of the seashore. The
Yeah,
waves.
it's got a lot of shell-like and
Yes.
ripples and exactly. Yeah. And I was working to get, a couple of different organic textures on it. And it's almost like it looks a little bit like sea urchins, and it looks a little bit like starfish, and it looks a little bit like sea anemones. And I was just sort of, all these things bouncing around in my head. So I just let the party out of my head a little bit on it and had fun doing it.
You succeeded in the organic part.
Thank you.
It looks great.
Huh? Thank you very much.
It looks
You
great.
held that up.
When
you held that up. When you held that up, the shadows on the different parts were really intriguing. Maybe you could duplicate that with some kind of a very light spray.
Perhaps. Maybe a little bit of airbrush might accentuate that stuff. So that's another good idea. I hadn't thought of that, but yeah, maybe if I handle that correctly.
Yeah, don't lose that texture, accent it. That's what I'm thinking.
Yep.
You had
and that's what I was kind of trying to do here with my little experimental bit here. As I was trying to, somebody suggested on Facebook that I use a paint wash in the deep parts, and I really liked that idea after doing some research. So, it's just there's a lot of choices here.
So many ideas, Matt.
Yeah. So in chat, I just got a message from Tom asking me if I used the Manpa cutter for cutting the spirals deeper on this one. I did not. I used a spear burr, a stump cutting spear burr to widen them, a small one. So I just made them deeper, and the bottoms of the grooves are rounded. So I don't know if that's obvious, but maybe it is here. You can see it a little better here. So, but I wanted to widen them, and deepen them. So that's what I did with that one. So thanks for the question. Okay, onward. Enough about my stuff here.
So Matt, we're gonna do safety next, and then I need to get our demonstrator on. We're overseas for our demo.
Okay.
All right, so let's go to safety, Sue. Sue, it is so good to see you in.
Did you guys miss me?
Yes.
Oh, of course.
Always.
Always miss you.
I missed you guys too. I understand that we're having a program, or maybe I missed it, on rehabbing a piece that we did in the past, or one that blew up on us. And
Yes,
so I want
recovery project.
I
It's
want
called
to
the
talk,
recovery project.
yes, the recovery project. I want to talk a little bit about that. In that, when something like, I blew up a little vase one time, and it was beautiful the way it was. And when I showed it to you guys, I showed you the front half, and everybody thought, "Oh, it's really nice." And then I turned it around, and the other part was missing. So, yeah, I think Brenda remembers. So I went, and my favorite glue for putting two pieces of wood together is either Type Bond 2 or Type Bond 3. I have those little mini ratchet straps to go around small items, and I use those in order to make sure that they're clamped together. And I'll wait 24 hours or even set it aside for a couple days to make sure that the glue is set. And then you have to make sure on all your pieces, whether you've rehabbed them with glue or super glue, or however you have them, make sure that all your tools are sharp. Now, to do that, you may need to clean a couple of your CBN grinders, or you might have to redress the stone grinders. Make sure the stone grinders are sound and there's no cracks. Then get your tools super sharp. I mean, shave with it. And then take super light cuts. Don't try to hog it out. Otherwise, you're going to blow it up all over again. So rehabbing something is fun, but you have to be extra careful with it. So I know this is a short one, but we have a demo coming up, and I just want everybody to be safe this week. And I promise I'll be here next week. And God, I can't wait to get home. another month at least. So anyways, take care, you guys, and I'll see you next week.
Yep. All right, sounds good. Thank you, Steve. All right, so let's go. We're gonna get started on our demo tonight. We have Martin Clarkson, who is going to be doing the demo for us. It is going to be his demo. So if you have any questions or comments, please leave them for after the demonstration. And if you have any questions, put them into the chat. And as he's doing changeovers, or he's got a pause, I will catch the question and ask them to him for clarification, or to just straight up answer whatever it is that somebody may be wanting to know at that particular time. And so I'm going to mute everybody. Folks, please don't unmute yourself to say something when it doesn't need to be said. For some reason, we have several folks that seem to do that. Just keep the fingers off the space bar. And so without further ado, let's go over to Martin. Martin, I am going to mute everybody. You'll have to unmute yourselves.
Hopefully you can hear me, Dan. I can't hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
That's good. I can hear you, Matt, but I couldn't hear Dan then.
No, I'm here.
You've thrown me in at the deep end, and I did volunteer because I would never like to see a Wednesday night without a demonstration. You've had demonstrations for the last 5 years, so I didn't want to see you without one tonight. So I have jumped in.
I do appreciate it.
Anybody who knows me, I have a tiny little workshop at the moment. My new one is getting built, so I've stolen my wife's phone, so I'm seriously in trouble. But it does mean that I can see you, and hopefully you can see my lathe.
Yes,
I did say to Dane, I don't want to go on for hours and hours, and we want to try and do a very, very simple demonstration, and it is predominantly what I do. Most of my work is turn between centers. I don't do carving, colouring. I tend to be more production. I produce an item, put it to market. If the market buys it, then I make lots of it, and that's the way that I do it. Some of my items are very, very cheap and very quick. That I sell an awful lot of them. Other items stick around for a while, but not very long. Okay, to make a start tonight, what we're going to do, or what I thought we'd do, the quickest thing for me to do is a cane topper. There is a couple of things that might come across that will help some people. With the cane toppers, with any blank, whatever you put on the lathe, if it's going to have a hole in it, you want that hole to be central. So what I do is when I cut my blanks, and I cut them all the same size, I'll put it underneath this one. I cut them all the same size. If I'm going to make two of something, you need to start off with the same size timber. If you start off with the same size timber, it makes life a lot easier. You can reproduce two very, very easily. As I said, because these are cane toppers, I want holes in them, and I want my holes to be central. So all of the blanks are pre-drilled. I cut all my blanks, and I pre-drill all of my blanks. And then I'm ready to start turning. Even when I do them with a natural edge, and I just use branch wood, still it's just drilled out central first. Turn between centers, some of you will notice that I just have a point drive, what I call a point drive on here. Very rare do I see anybody using one of these point drives. In fact, the first time I ever saw anybody using one, it was actually Dane one night when he did a demonstration. And I was so relieved that I wasn't the only turner out there that has one of these point drives. By using a point on the drive, you're not actually driving. What you're doing is you're creating a friction between the two points. So sometimes you will get where the wood actually stops turning. And that's when you need to tweak your tailstock up. Obviously, when you go to your lathe, you should be knowing what you're turning. There's a lot of turners go to a lathe with a bit of wood and then decide what that wood is going to become. And that's not the best way of doing things. If you draw it, or you have a design before you go to your lathe, it's a lot easier. Okay, so I know that I'm going to be making a couple of these, and we'll make a couple of cane toppers. For anybody who doesn't know, you guys must have them over there. This is a bamboo cane, it goes in your garden. And basically, it just holds plants up. And all I'm doing is I am creating something to go on the top of that cane to stop you poking your eyes out. And it looks like that. I sell them as a set of 5. And I sell them in whatever shape I decide to make them in at the time. But the 5 that I do are these. Like that. And all
I'm sorry, Martin, what are they for?
They go on the tops of garden canes.
Flower bed decorations, Matt.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah, they stop you pointing or catching your eyes on the top of these canes. Yeah.
Makes sense.
So very, very sensible, very, very easy thing to turn. They're not complicated. We're going to use 2 tools. That's another thing that I wanted to speak to you about tonight. I know you're on my lathe camera.
I can switch over to the other.
Yeah, switch over to me for a second, Dan, if you can.
Okay. There, we just had you on.
Just got me.
There we go.
So predominantly, I'll only be using 2 tools. Now, my skew chisel that I use, you will not have seen before. And I often get asked about the skew chisel. You will see that I end up cutting backwards. I break every rule with my skew chisel. Certainly the Register of Professional Turners said that I shouldn't be using a skew that is at 45 degrees. It effectively makes 90 degrees when I put two of them together, to give you an idea. I have used this for about 10 years now, and the idea of that come from this one, which is the Russian knife. This one's the small Russian knife, and that's how I started using this skew. And you will see when I'm using it tonight, please don't use your standard skew cutting the way that I cut tonight. The other tool that I'll be using is my rough and gouge. This is my go-to tool. I often get criticised, but what I say is when an artist does a drawing, he sketches it out, a rough drawing. This gouge is exactly that. It is a roughing out gouge. So you rough your shape out and then refine your shape. And most of it can be done just with one of these. Right, so we'll just make sure, obviously, that the tool rest is not anywhere near the wood when we start her up. You'll have to go back onto my other camera now, Dave. I think you've got me.
Yep, I got you.
Okay. I'll put my safety glasses on. I only use safety glasses when I'm turning. Very rare do I put a face shield on because I like to listen to what my lathe is telling me. Again, can be criticised for it, but you have to remember that the majority of my work, if not 95% of my work, is between centres. So working on between centres, if a piece is going to come off, I've got 25% chance in being hit because it's going down, up, left or right. So my chances of being hit are vastly reduced. Whereas on a chuck, it could be coming straight at you. So I do only ever wear my glasses. I don't wear a face shield. But it's for that reason that I don't wear a face shield. I can hear what the lathe's telling me. Okay, we'll fire it up. Hopefully there's a noise reduction.
Yeah, it's reduced.
Yeah, good. Square around.
Hey, Martin.
Yes.
We had a number of questions in chat. We're wondering if you could zoom the camera in so we could see how you're using the knife a little better.
I think you may be limited on that. Are you able?
Let me just let me try and drop this down a touch. If we do, we've got a few tie wraps in the way, but we'll give it a go. How close is that?
So it's a little closer.
Is that better?
We were wondering where the tool was contacting the wood. Are you above center?
Yeah. Well, what I'll try and do is, if I bring it down without wearing this phone.
That's a little bit better. If you can just show, without turning the lathe back, can you show or explain the tool contact, the height of the tool rest?
Right. So I won't have the lathe on. So what I'm doing is I'm using the front point of the tool, and I am going in with the point. And then, in exactly the same way as the skew works, I am cutting over on itself all the way. I could continue coming over the cut and turn the skew round and take it into the recess, but I don't, because as I come over here, my body movement hasn't got enough room to be able to twist. So what I tend to do is I can work that ball a lot easier by bringing it into here and over the top, and into here and over the top. So you're still getting a cutting motion. You're not getting a scraping motion, and you can see that on the actual piece.
Oh yeah.
I can see that now. Thank you, Martin.
While you're there, while you're balanced, what I'll try and do, let me just finish this one off, and we'll throw another one on. Let's just make sure my phone's going to stay where it is. So I'll try and turn a mushroom this one. I will try and slow down a little bit for the camera. What I'm doing there is I am completely doing the opposite of what you've all been taught. But if anybody tells me that I am scraping, they're wrong. Because with this, that's not a scrape.
Correct. So real quick, while you're stopped, Martin, there's been a slew of questions. So let's start first. Yeah, let's start first with what's the diameter of your skew stock there? What, 15 mil?
Yeah, for the toppers, it's 1.5 inch.
No,
So
on the skew itself.
On the skew is 1/2 inch.
Yeah. What is that diameter?
1/2 inch.
1/2 inch.
Yeah.
And then
so
how deep?
It's a 1/2 inch round bar skew. And because of the way that I've angled it, I'm actually getting nearly 3/4 across the blade.
Okay. And it's ground at 45 degree.
Yeah, if I get, let me just get another one.
Can you switch views?
Right,
He's
so
on the other camera.
There is, am I on the other camera? Flip me over on the other camera.
Okay, I'm getting there.
You found me, Dane?
I got you. Had you. There we go.
So there's two of my skews. I always have two or three because I just change them over so that they're always sharp. If I put them together, they almost
90.
make 45-degree angle. So that gives you an idea of what this cut is. Also, you need to have a concave bevel. So when I put it onto my grindstone, I literally have it at the angle that I want it. So I'm just putting it straight onto the top of the grindstone, and the wheel is cutting there. And it's giving me a concave underneath and a concave. When I turn it round, I put it onto there, and it gives me a concave bevel at that side as well. So anybody who's got the Sorby sharpeners, you do have a problem with it because it can't. A Sorby gives you a flat bevel. Yes, hollow grind. Any more, Dan?
The other
Yes.
question were how deep, how big around is the stick that goes into the ground, and how deep into the little thing on top do you drill it?
Sorry, just give me that again.
The stick that's in the ground and that this little thing sits on top of, what's the
Right.
diameter of that, and how deep do you go into the little?
almost
You
go-
pre-drill.
I almost go all the way at the bottom. So again, you'll be able to see there if I take that out, almost to the bottom of it.
Great, and
And
that's
the
like, is that a half inch also?
It's the hole is 10 mil.
Gotcha.
Because it fits most garden canes. So whatever 10 mil is, it's just under quarter, isn't it? And the idea is that the weight and the hole keeps it on the top. It stops it from falling off.
Very good. And then we'll talk about the Russian lathe knife after the demo.
Right.
All right. Thank you,
do
Martin.
This one. I'll try and I'll do this one, and I'll do it a little bit slower, and then we'll do quickly a natural edge one because people like to see natural edge so that it doesn't fall off. We'll give this one a quick go. Come on, catch up. Okay, we'll pop on an after later on. Where's my box gone? I lost my little box.
There we go.
There we go. Anybody got any questions?
Very nice, Martin.
Do you put
And
a finish on them?
Yes, I just oil them. I use a Danish oil for outside because they're going outside. And literally all as I do, I cut them with a skew, and you've seen how much sandpaper I use. It's just a matter of getting rid of the little tiny bit on the top, where I've cut it off, and they are just to go in the garden. So you don't want to be spending an awful lot of time on them. When they're oiled up, they slightly darken down.
Mm-hmm. And
But that's all I do. I just use it's just a Danish oil.
the type of wood?
These are all made in oak. That one is English yew. So predominantly oak.
I'm thinking something with color, and it would add to my flower bed.
Something with colour wood. Don't forget that outside your timber will eventually go grey. Even if you put a UV protection Danish oil on, you'll find that over time it will grey. So what you have got to try and do is get the shape right, because if the shape's right and you can instantly look at it and say that's a mushroom, once the sun's dyed it out, it's still a mushroom. It still looks like a mushroom. I use a bit of yew sometimes, which gives a bit of colour, but predominantly my customers are quite happy with just an oak topper.
Right. I'm thinking also that if I'm just making them for myself, as easy as they are to make, if they only last a year, it's fine.
Well, the other one I do is bulrushes. I haven't got a bulrush blank, but normally, again, they're just turned between centres, and when they go on a garden cane, I can probably get a hold of one because there's one in my garden. Give me 2 seconds and I'll bring a bulrush.
So bulrush is the same as what we call a cattail over here.
Oh.
So you got the rod and then you got the little brown furry thing. So he makes all that out of wood.
Okay.
Different colored species.
Hmm.
That's a bulrush.
There you go.
So this one, this one's been in my garden probably about 3 years now. I just Danish oil it each year, but I am lucky because I can bring it in and just sand it down.
Okay. Yeah, I empty my flower beds and bring everything inside anyway every winter.
Here, Martin, let's show it on the big screen on your other phone.
That one.
There we go.
Okay.
So, like I say, they sell really well. But the cane toppers,
if you make them bulrushes just a hair smaller, the flower shops just love them for putting in vases.
perfect for going in flower vases, definitely. Indoors, that's where I got my idea from. I saw somebody making a bulrush to go in a vase of flowers, and I thought they'd look good in the garden next to the pond. And instantly I started making the big ones, and away I went.
Out of curiosity, how much do you sell them for?
They are really cheap. These are £15 for 5. These are £15 for 3.
Okay.
So I think that's about $20 for 3 of these. The difference is not last year because I was moving workshop. The year before, we did 3,000 of the bulrushes, so 1,000 sets. And this one, we only started halfway through the previous year, and we did 200 sets. They are very, very much a pickup item. I do sell quite a lot. These have surprised me this year because they've sold online.
So you just sell the toppers, Martin, and the customer's responsible for the canes?
I don't know. The customer's responsible for the canes. Even when I do shows, I never take canes. There's nothing worse than people walking around with a cane.
Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, right you are, buddy. Right you are.
And the postage, you can imagine that these will just go into a little box. And in the UK postage, I can almost include on them because they cost me £3.45 to post out. And the wood, like I said, it's 2.5 inches long, 1.5 inches square. So I buy boards for the clocks of 1.5 inches, and the offcuts make the bulrush tops. So there's plenty of room in it there for the waste timber coming from the main trunk.
Right.
Anybody else got any questions?
So there's questions, all kinds of questions on the lathe knife. So if you could
The
show
Russian
that,
knife,
explain,
yeah. Show us the Russian
explain
knife.
that.
Well, let's show you the proper Russian knife. Because I showed you the mini one. This is the mini Russian knife. That has a blade not much larger than my skew. This is a proper Russian knife. If you have a look on YouTube and you type in Russian knife or Russian lathe knife, you will see certainly a Russian guy using one of these prolifically. He uses it for just about everything. That one and what is the Russian hook tool. The Russian hook tool is different from any other hook tool in the fact that it is sharpened at both sides, which allows you to go right the way across. So if you imagine you've got a bowl on, you would normally start on the right-hand side and go to the center. You would never go past center. Because obviously if you go past center, it's going to throw the tool out and you're not going to cut. With the Russian hook tool, you go right across the bowl.
Yep.
So it does take a bit of mastering. You've got to change your weight in effect halfway across the bowl because it cuts up on the up over and down on the down over as it goes round. So even this one I have struggled with to get to terms with the up cut and the down cut. The lathe knife isn't much different to the skew. I certainly wouldn't run out and buy one. I've had one 7 years now. I buy them from Hungary. I do sell them, but I only sell them to order. Because when I go to Hungary, I order them from the factory, from the blacksmith that has made these for 45 years. And I wanted an original Russian knife. So I bought one from there. And sometimes I bring them back in. And I have sent one or two over to America, but they are very, very expensive and they are very expensive to post. So I wouldn't go out looking for an imitation one. Do you need one? My answer to that is no, you don't. You've seen, I've got a tool bag of tools over there that I take out for demonstrations. I've got a load of stuff behind me, and I've used 2 tools tonight to create what I've wanted to do. And these 2 tools will be on my lathe for tomorrow because they will still do what I want them to do tomorrow. These will sit in the arsenal of tools to just say I've got them. So don't go wasting your money on tools. Waste your money on holding. Because if you can hold it, you can turn it. If you can't hold it, you can't turn it. So chucks are important. Your centers are important. I can't really show you the arsenal of centers that are above my lathe, but there is certainly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There is about 9 or 10 different size tail live centers and about 9 or 10, if not more, headstock drives. And the reason for that is because when I'm making something, if it's got a hole in, let's say, for example, this one, this used to be a live center. And because it was a cheap live center, the bearing fell off it. And I kept it. And it now becomes a drive. And that fits these, which are my cartridge keyring blanks. And because it was a live center, it has a Morse taper. It has a taper on the end of it. So it holds my blanks perfectly.
Oh, there you go. Perfect drive center.
So it's holding and working out how you're going to hold it and how you're going to turn it more than just going out and buying random tools that you think will work for you. If you're not using the tool, it's not going to work for you. You've got to practice with the tools that you've got. Anything else, Dan?
I believe that was it. If there's any other questions, feel free. The floor is open, folks.
Can I just say, I'm just going to dive in because in England now it is the 4th of July. And the 4th of July, I need to say, Happy Independence Day.
Oh, thank you.
But
Thank you.
The whole of America needs to say Happy Birthday, Martin, because it's my birthday on the 4th of July.
Oh, wow.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Martin.
And here I am demonstrating.
You know,
Hey,
we
I
celebrate
told you
your
last
birthday
week.
by lighting up the sky with fireworks. So happy birthday.
I I've always said it is definitely on my list to come to America and experience my birthday at one of the biggest celebrations in the world.
Well, I'll tell you what. Like I said last week, I hope every Wednesday is a black tie night. That was a great demonstration.
If you come, we'll find somewhere for you to stay. Come and
Oh,
spend extra
believe me,
time and
yeah, there'll be places. There'll be places for you to stay.
I do know I'd love to go over and meet so many of you. So watch this space, because I will get myself over, and we will all get together at some point.
We're coming over to meet you, so one of these days we'll have.
Well, do that as well.
Have bangers and mash.
Bangers and mash.
Yeah. Hopefully I'll see you in November.
Yes, my favorite food is bangers and mash. Right.
That's
if
one of my favorites when I go to UK.
If
I think
nobody's got any more questions, what I'd like to do, Dane, is I just wanted a quick demonstration, because again, on a Wednesday night, it's very important for everybody to show their work. So if there's no other questions, I am quite happy to turn everything off, go back and sit on my settee and join in the party.
Sounds good. All right. Thank you very much, Martin, for standing in tonight. I appreciate that.
Martin, it was very enjoyable. Very enjoyable.
Yep. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Right.
It was very enjoyable.
Thank you,
We'll
Martin.
see you on the inside.
All right.
Let's
Thank you very much.
go back to Captain Eddie and see what he thought about all that.
All right, I gotta press all the right buttons to get back in here. That was good. I'm glad Martin said that about the lathe knife, the cutter you saw. It's a nice tool to have, but I agree with Martin. You don't really need to go out and find one. And if you do go out and find one, make sure you find an original. I experienced it. I fooled around with those tools for a while, several years ago, and found that some of the copycats are complete trash. They, number one, didn't sharpen up right, didn't handle right, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, because copycats don't always copy. So it was a good thing. Good demonstration, though, and it did show us tool technique, and the way you hold and present your tools can really make a big difference in it. And his idea about you really don't need a spur center, you can hold between points. Some of us don't think about friction grips as being a grip. And the key is, and I've been saying it for 25 years, if you can hold it, you can turn it. Just get away from the fix that you have to have a gizmo or a gadget or a or whatever to turn wood. It's simpler than some folks think, and not as complicated as the catalogs and some demonstrations you see on YouTube, of all places, lend to make you believe it to be. So go to basics, and you'll be much happier when you go to basics. Number one, you take the mystery out. And when we started this evening, somebody was talking about cutting, and Martin just now spoke about cutting with the hollow work made in Russia. Now, that is a tricky tool. But that's the one where it's a great hollow for bowls. Best place to learn is on a flat piece of wood going across, so you can slow it down and watch the cutter cut. You know, when you started cutting as a kid and you picked up the good old fashioned pocket knife, and my wife moved my pocket knife. Here it is, always next to me on the table. When you started with a pocket knife when you were a kid, if your dad taught you how to whittle, he always taught you that everything up here doesn't matter. None of this matters. This is the important part, this edge. And when I was a kid, we all had, my dad was crazy. He never carried a pocket knife. He had kids. He'd tell his kids, y'all have a knife in your pocket when I need it. We have a knife in our pocket when he needs it. That was the deal. And I'll never forget that you always had a knife. Today, you'd think it's a weapon. But to get a good sharp edge, he taught us how to steal pocket knives. steel, not go take a steel and sharpen a pocket knife. Because you didn't have to grind it on a stone to make it sharp. Just had to touch up the edge you created. And as a kid, at 10 years old, I could take a pocket knife and a steel, which was a hardened bolt that was I used for a steel, and strike it 2 or 3 times and whittle and carve like I was using a scalpel. And kids in the neighborhood have knives that were worn down, ground down, because they over sharpened to achieve the same thing. Do we do the same thing? Yes. We buy gadgets and gizmos and toys and gizmic and all that stuff. When if we think about that edge, it's there. All we have to do most of the time is a slight correction. But to go to the grinder and grind away a whole bunch of it, throw it on the floor of the shop and let it go away and then go ahead and buy a replacement, that's ridiculous. Learn how to use your diamond stone, a really fine diamond stone, or a good soft stone to do a touch-up. Just 1 or 2 passes. Remember what you're doing when you do that. And like Safety Sue said earlier today, when she talked about reclamation work or recovery work, the tools have to be so sharp you can shave with them. Yeah, I don't like that shave with them technology or term. It confuses some folks. No, it has to be sharp enough to cut without a lot of drag and pull. And when you're really good with a stone and you just do 1 pass, 2 pass, that's it. You're not correcting it like you hit rocks in a garden when you're cutting with a lawnmower. You've been cutting wood. And if you don't hit your tools on chucks and stuff like that, you're just dressing back off an edge that's existing. So back off a little bit on a grinder, learn how to dress a little bit. You'll be so much happier. You'll get finer cuts. And those little fine cuts give you those, I love to call them wispies. When you see those little wispies coming off, you're in heaven. You're there. You got it done. When there's chunks flying off, you're still using an axe. Put the axe away, get out the scalpel, and make slices. Look, I know Grumpy's with us. I mean, Mark Soleil. I'm sorry. I want to call him by his right name instead of Grumpy. But he would teach you right now. You don't gouge something out. You slice it away. When I first saw Mark years ago, he was advertised as a wood slicer. I had to go find out what they're talking about, the wood slicer. Just as we've all seen, better tool presentation gives you better work, gives you finer work. I mean, you'd be happier and satisfied if you don't have to sand with a brick when you get started. I love that. Okay, we'll get more gallery coming up tonight, folks. Right here is where you can show us your work. And one place to show it is the world's greatest newsletter dealing with the woodturning. I'm going to jump on a bandwagon here. You're with the worldwidewoodturners.org. We've got a couple of things that nobody else in the world has got. We're 5 years old. We've got a fantastic weekly program. And as Barton said, we have a demonstration every week. We do at least 1 demonstration. We have a fantastic time. We have a world-class website dedicated to woodturning. None other like that in the entire world. And everything we do is in the front of everybody anytime they want it, right there on that website. Dave Rhodes runs our website. He's our webmaster. He's dedicated to putting everything we need, everything we want in one place. And it's always there and it's always free. And then JJ jumped in and gave us this newsletter. This newsletter, and one's out today, fresh one's out today. It's got photographs, tips, tricks, hints, and ideas about wood turning that honestly you don't find anywhere else. It comes out every other week, but it's missing one thing: that your work, your photographs. I mean, Al Dawson showed us a piece of work tonight. It's Maurice Dawson. We renamed him. Showed us a piece of work tonight that he did. And that's the kind of work we want to see in our newsletter. So if you have one, your photograph goes to editor at worldwidewoodturners.org. Is that? I don't want to screw the address up.
Editor at worldwidewoodturners.org.
Hey, 10-4, Ed. 10-4.
Yeah, that's okay, Maurice. Thank you. And he's going to change his name on his banner.
No, you have to change that. You have to change that. My wife is to be watching next week. You have to change that.
Okay, all right, we'll get to that. But that's what we do. And if you come up with something, if you've detailed or drawn something out, I mean, we saw it tonight. The Turner out of England. Oh, come on, give me the name.
Paul
Martin
Henry.
Clarkson.
Oh, Henry showed us that rig for putting your pieces for your lathe. Now that is an idea for all your turns and your centers and your gizmos and your gadgets right there, and it hooks onto a cabinet. He's going to send us a sketch that we can add to our website. Now that is input from membership, and see if you've got that idea in your head and you think, wow, why doesn't everybody do this? Because you haven't showed it to us and you haven't shared it. And that's what I love. When I see that, I think, I tried something like that one time and it didn't work out. But you know what I didn't try? And I'm seeing it in that sketch, in an image. And I'm thinking, boy, how many times do you look around and say, where is that? And, or I made this and it's, there it is right there. So you got ideas, you got tricks and tips. This is the place. This is it. All right. You're doing worldwidewoodturners.org, the world's greatest woodturning club. What else we got going on tonight, gang? I mean, I see us all out there.
Well, we're going to swing over to Joaquin. We're going to talk about the newsletter and adding articles and adding then and nows, how-tos and whatnot. So what you got, Joaquin?
Well, I have a question from Craig Brunswick. And Craig, I'm going to have to go back and look because I don't remember either. That was a month or more ago.
Yeah, I know. I tell you what, just forget about it, and I'll send new with the information.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Make it a lot easier that way.
Yeah, I that was months ago or weeks ago or even days ago.
It was
I
weeks
can't even
ago.
remember what I had for breakfast this morning. So thank you very much, Eddie, for your accolades with the newsletter. Listen, the newsletter is not about me in any way, shape, or form. I'm just the guy that puts it all in one place. The newsletter is from you, everybody that's a member of this club. You guys are who, and gals, you folks are who make the newsletter successful. And one of the biggest pieces of feedback I have about the newsletter is I want to see more different turners. I want to see more turners represented. That's really, really easy. Have them send their work to me. That's it. Send their photos. That's how we get a more diversity, more turners represented. Have them send their pieces. You email it to editor@worldwidewoodturners.org. Now, Outlook plays games, and I'm using just the way our server works and everything. I have to use Microsoft Outlook, and it has a tendency to play games. If you send me a photo and you don't get a confirmation, hey, I got it, thanks, or questions about it, message me on Facebook. Either when I make a post in the group asking for photos or something, let me know you're not hearing it. That you're sending, but you're not getting a response. Let me know. If it doesn't come through on Outlook, I have no clue you sent me something. So if you message me on the Facebook page, on the group page, and let me know you sent something, and for some reason I'm not getting it, then what I'm going to ask you to do is message me on my woodturning page, Watai Woodturning. Give me your email address. I will email you from the editor account, and that usually breaks whatever Outlook's little problem is. I've primarily had this problem with people in Canada. Okay. For some reason, Canadians can't email American Outlook, and I have no idea why. But if I email you, then all of a sudden we have full communication. I can get photos and files and everything. So it's a little bit of a pain in the neck. Yes, it absolutely is. But look at what we're able to produce because of that. So thank you very, very much. Yeah, Sheila, you did. You got lucky. I can't even remember, but I've had at least 3 Canadian turners who sent me photos. We couldn't get any, it didn't work. And finally we did the workaround and it cleared up and we had communication. So,
and now we got a gentleman in Georgia that's having that issue now.
And someone in Texas too. So it's not, look, if I don't respond to you, and I do my very best, I'm working 40 hours a week at least. And so I get on before I go to work at 5 in the morning, and I try to get on in the evening and look at the email in the after work. I do my very best to at least send you back a response saying I got your pictures. Usually I'll have questions if you didn't include a description or I still have one person who emails me with their business name and I have no clue who this individual is. And I need to credit you, the person, the artist, not your business. So that's the other thing. Yes, Heather, but usually you and I communicate, Heather, and we are able to figure it out. So, and hi, Heather. Yeah. So it's a work in progress. It is a work. It takes work, just like everything else we do. So be patient with me. If you don't hear from me, make a comment on one of my posts on the Facebook page saying, hey, I sent something, I didn't hear back. Let me know you emailed something. I will go back and search. And if I didn't get it, I will tell you and we will work it out of the public eye. We'll do it, through private messaging on my Facebook page. I will get connected with you. Jim Duxbury emails me to my personal email account because that's the way we got it to work out. So we will fix it. I'm dedicated to making sure that this is something that continues as long as I'm able to do it. And I've set it up in a format that if I have to hand it off in 3 or 7 or 15 years, somebody will be able to adopt it and continue it. I don't ever want this to end because it's absolutely my passion is wood turning, and it's something that I'm really passionate about and really excited to be able to share in this way, to share all of your work with anybody who ever clicks on the link and downloads the document and pushes print. And that's the ultimate goal, is that they push print and they print it out and they put a staple in the corner and they take it out. And did you see this? That's why I do it the way I do it. So that being said, I do actually have some gallery tonight.
Oh, this one and conveniently you're up next. So
yeah,
conveniently you're up next. So
that's why Dane sent you to me.
So hold on, Joaquin.
So
let's finish up with the newsletter. So we're still looking for articles, how-tos. If you got a quick tip or a process that you can write up, take a couple pictures. Doesn't take much effort. We'd love to have it. We'd love to be able to put it into the newsletter. And then we've still got our ongoing segment with our then and now. It kind of profiles, where you started at, with your turning style, what you were making at that time, and how your turning journey has been enhanced over the years, or for some over the months. It's a compare and contrast. A couple quick photos, what it looked like then, what it looks like now, and explain, that period of growth. And then beyond that, I've got something else going on with Captain Eddie. Captain Eddie, what you and I talked about will be in the next edition, and we'll just leave that at that. But I did want to let you know on that, on the off chance our messages don't get back and forth together. And then so with that, always looking for demonstrators also, since I got the floor here, and I'm sure I'll repeat myself on that again. So anybody wants to demo, you can use your phone. Martin just showed you. You can do it with 2 different phones. I do it with a phone. Doug does it with a phone. Several others does it with a phone. You don't need a fancy camera setup. And beyond that, we will go from there. Also, if you can't get a hold of JJ regarding photos being submitted or articles being submitted, you can always get a hold of me. Majority of the folks already have my contact info. You can also message me off of the Facebook group page. Majority of folks here are already friends with me. You can direct message me also, straight from my Facebook pages also. There's many different ways to get a hold of us. Same with the webmaster, Dave Crescent. You can get a hold of him as well through webmaster at worldwidewoodturners.org. So there's many different methods to get your info sent in for the newsletter, and we'd like to get a more diverse crowd. For the most part, we have the same individuals, and God bless everybody that does submit their stuff, but there's literally thousands on the Facebook page, and there's typically 100, 150 on the Zoom meetings here. We'd like to get more. There's not a page limitation to the newsletter. If we got them, we're going to put them in there. So with that, I'll get off my soapbox on this subject, and we'll go back to JJ for gallery.
Yep.
I'd
Yeah, the
like
nice
to
thing
say
about the
something,
newsletter is
JJ.
if there's more stuff to put in it, all I have to do is click add pages.
Right.
So this one I did 2 weeks ago. This is called Flora 1. And this is a clarinet bell, an African Blackwood clarinet bell is the foot. The body is red Coolabah burl, and parallax is making it look like the finial is taller than the top of the piece. That's the round shape of the camera lens tends to make a piece kind of look like this. So it looks like it's taller. That's called parallax. But if I tilt it a little so that it shows you even to the curve of the camera lens, it's actually the same height. Now, something's very specific about this piece is every part of it is using the golden mean, which is a ratio of 1 to 1.62.
1.18, 618.
618, which you round up to 1.62. So I used a golden mean caliper, and this is the length is 1. This is actually 1.68 or 62, whatever it is. I can't remember. And this is the same height inside from the bottom here to the top here. It's actually even. And I actually shaped the finial to the same ratio. So the finial stops thinning at 1, and you get the ratio is the top of the finial, but it's really hard to tell because it's inside there, and it's actually secured because it's the stamen of a flower. So if you think about it, the whole point of this piece was to look like a flower.
Beautiful.
Well, Keith, I'm just blown away by that. How long did that take you to create?
I don't know. I think I worked on it over about 3 days, but it was probably, I mean, the foot didn't take more than half an hour. The foot didn't take more than half an hour. The body, the flower probably took about an hour to an hour and a half. And the stamen of the flower or the finial, an hour, not even an hour, 45 minutes. So 3 hours of actual turning total. I had to do it over several days, primarily because this is actually secured to the foot using 2-part epoxy. So once I glued it, I had to walk away and just let it set overnight. And especially because African Blackwood is not going to absorb water and it's not going to expand. However, red Coolabah burl is far less dense and not as oily as blackwood. So this can absorb moisture and expand and contract. So I wanted to use 2-part epoxy rather than CA glue. Finial is actually a ebony pen blank. And so that one I used, it's similar density to the Coolabah. So I just used CA glue to fasten that together, or it would have took an extra day for epoxy. But 3 hours turning total, 3.5 maybe.
Hey, Joaquin?
Yes.
Are you familiar with a catenary curve?
With what?
Catenary curve.
No.
A catenary curve. Just imagine a chain just hanging from 2 points, and that curve comes down.
Okay.
That curve is a great curve to try to copy on bows and holoforms.
Okay. Yes, I am familiar. I just don't know the name. Yes, I am familiar. Yes.
Okay.
I did a write-up on it back in end of March or April on the Facebook page.
Yeah, we need to put that in the newsletter.
Yeah, I use that all the time. In fact, I got a graph in my shop, and I got a chain hanging up there that I can do up to like 24 by 24 pieces. And you just take a small chain, like a light pull chain, and just, put some nails up there, and you look at that curve.
Okay.
That's a good way. Plus the golden mean too, But that's just another aid that you can use.
Well, and those are classical. So if you've never taken an art history class, the golden mean, the golden ratio, the Fibonacci sequence, the catenary curve, these are all things that have been used in art and in design for thousands of years and were actually mathematically studied by the ancient Greeks and the Romans. And so if you look at history and bring those ideas back to now, and you look at things like the designs of the arches, the ogee, the ogee shape, we all know about the Roman ogee. These are all mathematically calculated ratios and designs that have been used to create perfect proportions for thousands of years. And I think there's a lot of value in learning about this historical, mathematical, artistic equations and applying them today. So that's kind of what my intent here was, to take that golden ratio, that 1.168 or 1.162,
1.618,
1.1618, which you round up to 1.162, but to take that and to show actual direct application with the proportions of this piece. Now this one I just did today. I'm doing a demonstration on a lidded hollow form with a live edge on the 20th at the Wilmington area Turners. And so this is just practice to make sure I remember what I'm doing. And I didn't actually realize that I had this piece of persimmon. This is from a persimmon tree that was killed by bugs in my backyard 3 years ago in Lexington, North Carolina, before I moved here to Thomasville. And I got some nice pieces of this persimmon. And
beautiful job.
And so
it looks great.
Looks great.
This is the finial. And part of the demonstration I'm doing, this is cherry. And that is actually dyed with vegetable tan leather dye. Wow. And sanded and finished. I used my pen finishing process to get it that nice glossy finish, but that's cherry wood. That is not.
Wow.
That's not ebony or blackwood. That's cherry. But you can make a finial that looks like one of those neat, shiny African blackwood or ebony finials out of pretty much any densely grained wood.
Yeah, cherries and maples work really well.
Yeah, cherry and maple. Actually, persimmon does really well too. The problem with persimmon though is it's denser than it's persimmon is actually a type of ebony, and it's denser than cherry or maple. So you really have to work. It's more of a painting process to get it to ebonize, rather than a dyeing process where the cherry soaked in the black dye. Persimmon will not soak in the black dye. You actually have to use something like black lacquer or something to get persimmon to do it. But if you look, I don't know if this camera will show. You can't, if to the naked eye, you can see the lighter sections where the dense grain of the cherry did not actually absorb the black dye. But it's on this camera, you can't tell. But there is actually, you can actually see cherry grain and there are lighter sections. It's just, I can't show you on this camera. But that's cherry wood.
We'll take your word for it.
Yeah, that's cherry wood.
Beautiful pieces.
Yes, beautiful.
Thank you. That's all I got.
All right. Well, thanks, Joaquin, and thanks for all your work on the newsletter. It's great.
Joaquin, make sure you send pictures of those to the editor.
Ah, screw that guy. He's a grouch, grumpy old fart.
No, all that was very enjoyable. Very enjoyable. Thank you.
Thank you, Al. Al, I do want pictures of that base. That thing's awesome.
Yeah, that's a surprise. I mean, I think my stuff is just mediocre, but yeah.
It's beautiful.
It's not a matter of whether or not you
think you're a mediocre turner. Did you make beautiful art? Yes. Send it to the newsletter. It's worthy.
It's very creative and very unusual, and it's a lot more than just simple round and brown, and it looks great. So yeah, you inspire us too, Al.
What Matt said.
Thank you. Dave, thank you very much. I look so much for Wednesday nights, believe me. It's a big part of the life here.
It is.
Oh,
yeah, agreed.
One more thing. I got to visit Jim and Rita Duxbury on Monday, and it was a fantastic day, and my brain is still swimming. But this piece from a log, I did all of the center finding from finding the center to put it on my bandsaw to cut it down, to finding centers to mount it on the lathe, even finding centers on this piece of cherry. I used my Duxbury center finder. Great tool. It is a fantastic tool. So thank you very much to Jim and Rita for being wonderful hosts and for the center finder, because that's going to get used from now on.
We had a great time.
We did.
Great time.
We had a good time.
Well, I really enjoyed visiting with you guys, and I hope we do it again soon.
We did. Hope so.
All right. Well, next up for gallery is Todd Phipps. So let's see what you got, Todd.
All right. I hope you guys can hear me. I'm at my dad's house this week. And speaking of inspiration, I was inspired last week by Doug Miller's demo. And so I tried to make my version of it. I posted some pictures. Some people might have seen it on Facebook. It's not as long and it's not as thin. It's right at just over a 1/4 inch, but pretty happy with it.
It's pretty.
Piece of maple. And
it's very good, Todd. Very good.
So I did that on Thursday.
Nice.
I'm at my mom's house, and my mom always got the first of everything I made, and so sitting on a shelf here was something inspired by a demo from Carl Jacobson, like I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago at SWAT. He did a vase with a fake hole in it. So he the turn the outside of the vase and then use a Forstner bit and then do the inside of it, and then use a saw to round it out, and then like a little torch to darken the edges to make it look like it was a real hole in a piece of wood. But This was the first of those that I made, and so it was at my mom's house, sitting on a shelf. So
looks good.
So I have that from SWAT.
Now since you are there and have an opportunity to get a new picture of that, you have an opportunity to show your past turnings and your new turnings.
How about that? Yeah. So, so I'll try to do that. You know, Captain Eddie earlier was talking about SWAT, and I'll tell you, like 8 or 10 years ago, I think I started turning like 14 years ago, and then like 10 years ago, I had watched all like 280 Captain Eddie videos, and then I'm in line for lunch at SWAT. Captain Eddie's behind me, and he said, where are you sitting?" And I got to sit there and have lunch, I don't know, 8 or 10 years ago with Captain Eddie at SWAT, and that was like, that's what SWAT's about. And so Captain Eddie coming back to SWAT this year will be fantastic.
Yes, it will.
And maybe I'll see Billy.
Oh yeah, I'm sure maybe Todd. Over a beer or 6.
Over a beer or 6, yes. So I went home to my house today at lunch, and I wanted to make something, and so I found a little piece of ash that I had out there, and so I turned this little bowl and did a those are Hampshire Sheen carnival stains on the outside, and then in the grain of it, let's see. So I sanded the outside of it, put the stain on, put a coat of sanding sealer on it, cleaned out all the pores like before the sanding sealer and after, like smoothing out the sanding sealer, and then put an embellishing wax into the grains, and then threw a coat of lacquer over the top of it. And then on the bottom, put a little crosshatch pattern in, and used the same embellishing wax on the bottom of it then. And so a neat little piece today at lunch.
Very nice.
Very, very nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Nicely done,
that's
Todd.
what I have.
All right. Well, thanks very
Good.
much.
Good stuff, buddy.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Next up is Craig.
Oh.
Hi, Craig.
Evening, all. How y'all doing? I haven't. I've been away for a few weeks and haven't done a whole lot, but this is one that I finished. It almost looks like a flying saucer. It's just a simple dish. Got a little, concave in there. The back, I'm still working with a lot of that barn wood that I have, but I like the way it came out. Kind of looks like an eye or a fish or something there.
Awesome character in that piece. Holy cow.
Yeah, well, that's why
What kind of wood is that,
it's
Craig?
pine, but it's from a 150-year-old barn.
Wow.
What kind of
beautiful.
I got a bunch of that wood, and the lady that I'm getting it from is set aside in her carport a whole bunch of wood for me to pick up in the long run. So
nice
I'll be
finish.
working with it for a while. I'm sorry?
What kind of finishes on that?
Tongue oil.
It's beautiful.
And this is one I had a couple coats of tongue oil on it, and hand sanding it wasn't working too well to get rid of a lot of the bumps and everything. So I took it out to the lathe today, and I used steel wool to smooth it out. Just put a new coat on the top. The bottom looks nice, but it'll be shinier when I'm finished.
Very nice.
Pretty. Yeah, nice.
And somebody was talking about having issues with the wood where you have to rework it. I had that happen to me the last 3 days. This guy here was 3 boards glued together. And it was, again, the barn wood, a lot of bug damage. On this, you can see more up on the top here, what it kind of looked like. On this side here, it was so much wormholes and everything, and bug holes. I went ahead and I tried doing my coffee ground filling. And once I did it, and even when I got it nice and smooth, it just looked like a blob. So I ended up taking about 1.5 inches of the diameter off of it. And then that was working good. Getting ready to turn it over, I did a recess. Well, the recess blew out on me. So then I went ahead and I put it back on the faceplate again and did a tenon. And here's parts of my tenon. So now I've been trying to think, and I finally think I figured it out. What I'll do is I'll put the faceplate on it again because the holes are still there. I hadn't gotten that far on it. And I'm going to flatten this out, get another piece of wood, glue it onto the bottom, and work it out again.
There you go.
Because I really like the shape. You know, it's
Yes.
There, you know, it curves out that way and it comes around and then it goes up, but it goes kind of like that. Don't know if you can see it from
Yes.
with the light and everything.
It's like a little double OG.
Yeah. So
Hey Craig, instead of doing that, why don't you just dovetail the bottom and put in your chuck and finish the top?
Problem is, I use my Forstner bits and I don't have but about a ½ inch between the rough edge here and the bottom of the bowl on the inside.
Glue block time.
Yep.
Huh?
Glue block
Time for a glue block.
Well, yeah, I still got to put it on to flatten that out. So if I put a glue block in here, I'll still have to.
If you put a dovetail there in the bottom, you won't have to go into the bottom of the bowl. Just put it on the sides, and you can mount the whole part into a chuck, and spread it out to hold it.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's an idea too. But we'll
You
see
don't
what
have
I
to
end
go
up doing.
You don't have to go any deeper. Just fix your dovetail on the sides there at the bottom. On inside.
Okay,
inside.
okay. You talk about it
Yeah,
in
right
here?
there. Yes.
Inside.
Okay.
Yeah, put
Right,
dovetails.
and just use the chuck on the inside.
Yes, right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it looks relatively strong grain in there, so maybe I'll try that first and see how that goes. But
You can stabilize the wood, put some like Minwax stabilizer or something on that to help hold it together.
well, actually, what I did with all of that worm and bug holes and everything, it wasn't punky, but it was super fragile. So I had before I put it on the lathe the last time today, I put 3 coats of sanding sealer, Minwax sanding sealer on there, really heavy, and let it dry for about a day and a half. And then I put it on the lathe, and the holes and everything are holding up a lot better than they were before I used the sanding sealer. So, but that's where I'm at.
Thanks very much, Craig.
Hey, thank you.
Next up is Ray.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, Ray.
Hey.
So I haven't been turning for a while. I've been away the lathe for probably about a month, and I got back Sunday, and I turned this little guy. I haven't done really much ingrained work yet, so this is kind of my first one, and it came out okay. I made a lot of mistakes with it, but it's cherry, and the idea was a pencil pot for my son for all his school pencils.
Looks nice.
So
looks good, Ray.
You might think it's a simple project, but that thing looks nice.
It really
nice
does.
Smooth outside, nice even walls. Beautiful job.
I'm a huge fan of pencil pots, Ray, because I consider it a gateway drug. It's how I got my son into the shop. So
and then I this had been kicking around my shop for several months with the tenon on, and I was just kind of waiting, and I got a vacuum chuck system, and so I tried that out last night, and things were getting late, so the bottom's kind of boring. It's just flat, but I'm going to say that I did that to highlight, the figure in it, so it doesn't take away from it. But it's a nice kind of figured piece of
Yes, it is.
starting to spalt maple, and it's a crotch live it or no bark, so it's natural age, right?
Yep.
Very, very, very nice. How do you
Looks-
like your vacuum system?
Looks great.
I need to talk with you about that. I chucked
Okay.
this thing probably 4 times last night.
Yeah, I use tailstock support as long as I can on the vacuum system.
Me too.
What had happened was I think it might have to do with my hand wheel. Because I bought the what was it? TMI hold fast, and the bearing system that goes into the hand wheel is not lining up right, because I don't know how on other lathes it is, but mine goes into a Morse tapered spindle instead of a flat hand wheel.
From the outboard side of the spindle.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So that's how Rikon does their outboard turning, is they just have a spindle on the outboard side, and your hand wheel just threads onto it with a grub screw. And so when you
Oh.
want to do your outboard, you just move your chuck to the outside, and then it's got an extension that drops 2 inches. So you gain 2 inches of swing that
I see.
way. So that adapter, I believe, is meant for a flat face, but I have that Morse taper right there. So what was happening was that bearing was wobbling all over the place, and the vacuum line was disconnecting on me.
Yeah. I was going to say, it sounds like your vacuum wasn't sealing up right. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this did fine, but it was the connection.
I worked with Albert at the club.
Okay.
And we made one for my lathe. So
Okay.
out of melamine, out of the plastic. So yeah, we'll talk.
Yeah, because what I want to do is eventually, like, I want to do like a 2-inch PVC type vacuum chuck, so I don't have to deal with jam chucks or whatever. I just suck that thing on there and do the bottom.
That's exactly what I've done. I've got 4 or 5 sizes, and I just Yep.
So yeah, this thing bounced around the shop a lot. I'm surprised it survived the way it did. And I'm kind of going like how Dane's doing with the tongue oil, but it's only got 1 coat on it so far. And so I'm probably do 4 or 5, try to get a nice good gloss on it, go away, kind of step out of my comfort zone, which is just oil. So
there you go.
Very nice piece. All the same. Very well done.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Yep. Next up is Jim.
I have to tell you, Ray, the first 26 pieces I turned with my vacuum chuck all had holes in them, bug holes somewhere.
Oh, okay.
It's an interesting experience.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a screen share here. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
The first one on the left is my Dux chuck, the sliding frame for an offset. The second one is another version of that. That's the same thing, only it's got this is a 10.62 degree miter cut into it. That puts the piece on a 4th dimension. That takes it off the center and puts it on the side so that you can turn flat, emboss things flat, or like facet them and that sort of thing. This is the mandrel, fits either one. I'm learning that I can think faster than I can turn, and I don't have enough wood to turn things very big. So I've started turning jewelry and pendants and things. This is how that thing's made. The chuck is made straight, just like the other slide frame, and then it's cut at an angle. These angles are specific to what you want to do. So yeah, this is 3/16 to an inch, the taper. You can make these. In fact, I've got all kinds of them, but this is what it looks like when you put it in the chuck. Now the piece is off-centered. This is going to be a 3-boss flat. That's going to be a pendant. And That's another version of it. This not only puts it off center, but it puts it off angle too. This is just short. If you put longer pieces or a bowl on here, I know how to do it. Now I have to figure out what I can do with it. That's this is what it ends up. You end up with these three facets.
Wow.
And you can do two is the most exaggerated, but that's one on each side and it doesn't look very good. Three is they kind of tie together so the rings kind of run into each other, but that's another view of it. That's what it looks like.
Cool.
And you can see the flats, see the three flats on here that anyway, on a bowl shaped piece, if I do these on bigger pieces, it takes longer and I'm starting to run out of wood. Anyway, that's another look at it. There it is. It's hard to get a picture of what it really looks like, but I got a
That
bunch
feels
of these.
good in the hand.
I'm gonna make a dozen of these things. Oh, this is a bigger one. This is a 20 degree. This fits on my big chuck, my big stronghold chuck, but I can turn bowl blanks and all kinds of things on this. But that's another whole world. I'm working on this for my spot demo. Anyway, that's the end of it for me. Just makes you think. Okay.
Everything you do makes me think.
Yeah, you and me both.
Yeah,
Well, by turning little things, you can make a lot of them real fast. So if you're turning a 10-inch bowl, you screw it up and you got a block of wood you wasted in a half a day. These things you got a disc 2.5 inches in diameter and 3/8 of an inch thick, and you can make those. I got dozens of these things, all kinds of designs. Yeah.
Yeah, Joaquin's right. You're not really running out of wood, Jim. You're not fooling any of us.
Yeah, well, that's right. Oh, my wife got another load, man. We can't even get in the shop.
Yeah, mine is the same way. I spent 2 days last week cleaning mine out, and I still can't move around really well.
Yeah.
Well, maybe there's a Rita pile that's really big, and then there's the Jim pile that's the little pile.
You've been here. Exactly. Exactly.
All right. Well, thanks, Jim.
Sure.
Next up is Ray Davis.
All right, I'm here.
Yeah, we got you.
All right, good. Well, I'm kind of trying to get out of my comfort zone this last week and do just some regular turning instead of segmented turning. So my first one was kind of a wing bowl. And I think it's a sassafras. And it was kind of a odd piece, but it came out decent. And I didn't like it at first, but I grown to like it a little bit. So I may have to try another one.
I like it a lot. That's nice.
That's pretty.
I can't say I've seen sassafras turned.
The top, when you flip it over on the bottom, it looks like it's flip it over on the bottom. That's like the beginning of a cowboy hat.
Well, I don't think it fit up there too good.
Well, I mean that's the beginning.
The rim here, and yeah, okay. So then I've had to go back a little bit to segmented, and I've been doing some bracelets.
Oh, there you go.
Wow.
That's nice.
Dang.
That's one. And then I had to have some open segments.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's too cool.
Dang.
That is art.
That's really nice. Yeah.
So now I have to find a girlfriend for him, but
I'm single.
Don't tell my wife, all right? And then I finished up with this one.
Ooh.
Oh.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Oh.
Wow.
Interesting, my.
You know what? Those would also make a very nice looking collar on the top of a vessel.
Mm.
Yep.
Yeah,
You
would.
could.
Yes.
Yeah,
You could put
That-
a base on it too, I suppose, and have a little pot.
yep,
Yeah.
yep, sure could.
But it's a
Very
way to use up a lot of your scrap woods. And then I had a little bit of wood left over. So I thought, well, how about a napkin holder or a
There you go.
for a child or something like that.
Yeah. Hey, Ray, for your
Yeah.
bangles, what size do you make the bangles?
I try to hit an 8. And then the smaller ones, I can't, they seem to be too small for most of the ladies, unless it's a young child or something. And then I take an 8, and then I may change it a little bit based on who I'm going to give it to. So it's kind of a fun project. And I use the was it Fairfax 3408 on them.
There you go.
So it came out really nice. And that's the first time I used that.
How many segments per ring?
This is 24. This one here is 12. And I think this one is 24.
That's some pretty work. That's really pretty.
Yeah,
it is.
So
that's some really pretty work.
What's the inside diameter again? On those?
They're approximately 2.5 inches inside.
Okay.
That's for a number 8.
What do you mean by number 8?
Well,
bangles
if you're making bangles, there's 3 or 4 different sizes, depend upon the ladies that you're building them for.
Like your ring size.
Your wrists,
right?
You've got to be able to put your wrists through them, and they call it a 7 or an 8 or a 9, 10, whatever. Me, I think I'd probably have to take a 15, but there are many how.
So what degree were you cutting your segments on?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that.
What degree were you cutting your segments on? What degree on your sled?
It depends on the number of segments.
It all depends on the diameter. The diameter that you're
Uh-huh.
And the number of segments.
Well, let's say that one there. Let's say that one that you have.
How many segments do you have around in each ring?
Yeah, right. That's yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, this one here has 5 in the center and then 2 on the either side. But
how many in circumference?
Pardon?
How many in circumference?
24 on this one here.
So it's 360 divided by 24 divided by 2, and that's the angle he uses.
That's it. Just tell them the formula, guys.
Yep. Thanks, Ray.
Nice.
So that's all I got.
That's real nice. Real nice. Real nice. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, they look good, Ray.
Thank you.
Those are great.
Fantastic.
All right. Next up for gallery is Howard, who I know has some interesting stuff because I've seen it on Facebook.
Yep.
Well, I don't know about that, man. I every time I got to follow Jim and Ray, and I don't understand. So you might well just pass me on over because they got
Howard,
fantastic stuff.
you didn't have to follow me tonight, so I could have followed Jim. So you know what I'm saying. So.
Well, I don't know. This is not a bow or a holoform or anything or a vase or anything, but I did do some turnings on it. So it's a quilt rack.
Beautiful.
Can y'all see that?
Yeah, sure can.
Beautiful.
But I did turn the post, this post,
I don't think anyone would want to be after you.
Bull. And then
That's great
Absolutely
work.
gorgeous.
and then these
Howard.
scratchers, I turn one on each side, but this scratcher is just a 1.5 by 4, and the bottom scratcher is 1.5 by 4.
My goodness.
And I bandsaw the legs and the arms, and then I carved on them.
My
And
That's
God.
beautiful, Howard.
It looked
That's
great.
They're
beautiful.
Wow.
My,
Heck,
I mean,
I-
my God.
Very nice.
I can't hold this thing, but anyway,
Which
either
make it out
way,
of?
they're mortise and tenon into the
Okay.
column.
So each leg went and joined your spindle.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I left this spindle square so that the
Right,
legs could
right,
fit in,
right.
and also that the scratcher could.
What kind of wood is that?
It's walnut.
My God, that is beautiful, man.
That don't
I
fit your
think-
head.
I think I need help to get me out of this thing.
Yeah, I know. You look like you need more help than we do.
Somebody put Howard in the chokey.
I'll tell you what, man, that is so pretty. Show the top and the bottom together. Okay, so they're the same. They're the same. They're the same shape. Okay.
Yeah, but the legs are a little bit smaller. That way, if you put a quilt on it, this can hang up, on the outside of the legs.
Right.
Can you put that above your head again, Howard? Yeah, raised up a little higher.
All right, y'all are just messing with him now.
You know what? That's beautiful.
Oh, great.
That is beautiful.
My wife said this make me a good yoke. I don't know if y'all know what a yoke is.
Yeah. Yeah. So what you put on draft horses to haul
Right.
stuff.
So
oxen.
No kidding.
I
No
think
kidding,
she
God.
I
That
think
is
she
beautiful.
refers to me as the south end of northbound mill. So anyway. But anyway, I did do some.
There's
I did
at
some-
the bottom, where you have underneath there, right there. How that right there. That's so pretty.
Oh, okay, thank you. I try to match it with the one on top a little
That
bit.
is- that
Hey,
is so
Dane,
beautiful.
Dane,
Yes, sir.
I'm not
Yes.
going to put a fini on this, okay?
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. You
Very
don't need no finial.
That's beautiful.
Woo! Man, I got
Hell of a work.
I've been making tubes,
Oh my God.
and this is red oak. I had a big red oak tree cut down, and so I took some pieces, and the grain runs this way. This is grain run this way, and
Side
so
grain.
yes, and so I got it round and I drilled it out. Used Frostner bit to drill that thing out, and then I kept turning it down until I got it about a little bit less than 1/8 of an inch thick. And so I did some biography on it.
Uh-huh.
This is supposed to be kind of like a campfire, got a camp, and the smoke's coming up, ripping around like that.
Cool.
So then I pierced this, and I did this green so it would, it would bow and bend and everything. And I put it in a jewelry show, and boy, they knocked me down because they said I used some sorry wood because it's all bowed and oval and oval shape and everything. And I told them after the show, I said, that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be warped and oval and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway.
Right. So you turned it that way.
Right. So
Gorgeous.
I think it looks great.
well,
Tell they know until they were judging.
Yeah, I don't know what do you do? What do you do with these?
So how did you lay it out and carve it?
Oh, well, I just drew it out, pencil, and then I took burner and made the black, did a stippling on it, and then colored it with India ink, and then I just pierced it. I used Dremel tool to pierce it, and I put a polyurethane finish on it, and
Super work, Howard. Super.
but I don't know what you use them for. Just
Yeah,
sit on
Dust-
the
dust
just sit on
collector.
the shelf.
You
know
put a
what?
candle in it.
That's what I was
You put a
thinking.
candle in it.
It may catch on
You could-
fire.
You could put dried flowers or you could make those bulrushes that Martin was making earlier and put those in there.
Hey, yeah.
Real long
But
pencils.
but I need a good base to hold it up where they can come out.
Yeah, you know what? It's
I can
just
tell you what
gorgeous.
not to put in there.
It's just gorgeous. Period. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's an art piece. It doesn't need to do anything
Nothing
except
but
sit it
an
on the
art
table.
piece.
That's
You're
exactly right.
It is just
Look pretty.
gorgeous.
Tell us a story. Badass.
It's just gorgeous.
Well, thank
Yep.
you. I was kind of ashamed to show it because
No reason. That ain't
That's a
that ain't
beautiful
nothing to be
piece.
ashamed of,
Somebody
Howard.
might come up and hit you
Yeah.
on top of the head for it.
I think I hit my head while ago with that quip
I
stand.
think you hit it twice. I had a little
I'm glad my wife didn't see
tally
that.
going.
I'm glad my wife didn't see that quilt rack. She's been after me to make her one.
Well, there you go. Go to it.
Yeah,
Mine would
what
walk
Sue
on,
Bailey
sure.
said. Yeah, I'll take it off your hands. No
How
problem.
about
Yeah,
that?
if you're having
Hey,
you're having
that-
trouble
hey,
storing it, I'll take care of it too. Yep.
That's a really pretty piece. That was. And
Thank you.
that
So
and no, but what we're talking about, yes, that's beautiful what you
Well,
did.
thank you.
Howard, you posted a bowl the other day. I thought you were going to show it that you
Oh,
Yeah, me
pyroed.
too.
What does it look like? Do you remember?
Well, it's got that red India ink on it. I mean, I could go find it real quick.
I'm looking for it.
Oh, you got it, Billy?
Not yet. I'm looking.
Oh,
Seemed like it was docks or something, and you had a red river going up the sides.
You may go get it? Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
I can
Yeah, that's what I
remember
was
what-
hoping you'd show I'd hoping you would show that tonight.
Aha. This one.
All right, show it.
This one right here.
All right, show it.
Highlight me.
Working on it.
Yeah, hang on, Billy, getting
So
there.
I'm hanging.
That one.
Okay.
Yeah, that one.
This one.
Let me see. I can't see it.
There you go.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Where
Yeah.
is that thing?
That is a cool piece.
That is a beautiful piece.
Yeah.
Look like
Y'all
bowling
just saw the
pins.
top of it. Y'all ain't looking at the bottom. I am. It's gorgeous.
Well, give me time. Give me time. I'll go find it.
Okay. It's on a pedestal.
Okay. All right.
That's
Well,
really
meantime,
pretty.
we can go to Sheila and we'll come back to Sheila. We'll come back to Howard when he's ready.
Oops, I'm frozen.
There you are. Not now.
I thought
Okay.
you were asleep.
As I did too.
This is the one that Jane thought I should throw out.
Oh, the fiberglass one. Yeah.
Yeah. It broken skateboards, and
That is so pretty.
I discovered that there was some fiberglass in it, painfully. So I took those layers out and just did it.
I'm glad you didn't throw it away. That is really pretty.
Yes. Thank you. It still needs to be sanded a bit and another coat of finish put on it, but I'll finish it tomorrow.
Looks good.
Thanks.
Yeah,
I
that's
have a few little things that I was working on. There's this keychain, which is a secret compartment one. You can put stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
It is epoxy mixed with some ABS shavings.
Is that the kit from Penn State?
It's actually from William Woodwright here in
Okay.
Canada.
It looks longer than what mine usually are.
It looks big on camera. I don't know. And this one is the same kind of thing, but it's supposed to be a pill holder.
Yeah, little pill
Oh,
box,
yeah.
pill pot.
It's a little bit fatter and shorter, and it's shavings from one of my skateboard bowls mixed with epoxy. It's kind of hard to see the colors in it.
Almost looks like a deer antler.
Yeah, off the camera it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also did a couple of little memory pendants. You can put ashes in them.
Those
Nice.
are very nice.
And
Could you hold that up a little higher?
yep,
That is pretty.
Higher, closer to you. There you go. Right there.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
great.
yeah. Wow.
and I had originally thought it was going to be a teardrop shape, and I put it together wrong, and then I kind of liked it like that.
Yeah,
It's like a little
I like
urn.
it like that too.
I do
Like a
too.
urn. Yeah. Looks nice.
And then I did a couple of vegetable peelers. This one's got some bark, I think.
It's a little too
A little
close to
higher.
the camera and a little low. There you go. Perfect.
A little bit of bark and epoxy in it, and this one is just redwood blank that came with the
Nice.
That's
vegetable.
pretty.
Nice.
Where did you get those kits at?
Same place, William Woodwright, penblanks.ca. If you want to look them up.
Yes, I'm
You
not.
put that in the chat?
Sure.
There we go.
They're just in Guelph, and they're handy, and they have weekly sales. So I just buy
Nothing
whatever's
wrong
on
with
sale
that.
that week.
Sweet. Okay.
And I gotta find that other pendant someday. Okay,
All
I
right.
will put it in the chat.
Okay, thank you.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Sheila. Howard's not back yet. Do you want to see a very quick golden ratio thing? Dane?
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, it might be good for the group since we're having that
Yeah.
discussion again.
Let me do this. So this is I showed this before, but the calipers here are golden ratio calipers. So one side is 1 unit long and the other side is 1.618 long. So you can see, and I did this in a demo without doing the measuring and then got asked if it was golden ratio. So I got out the calipers and measured. So there's an example of how you might use the calipers to see if your goblet or whatever is a golden ratio. And there's lots of different ways to measure it, but that's one way to do it.
So
That was
that's
a
a
good
good
guess.
image. And so that's a good image to go along with my explanation example with the chalice.
Yep.
that I had
And
in the chat.
we do have a golden ratio caliper design on
the
our
website.
website. Yeah. And we did have a discussion about that, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, but that's one way to do the measurements, and the calipers are really helpful if you're trying to train your eye. So
yeah,
and I'll let it back to the general population.
All right, let's
So Howard is
swing
still
back over to-
MIA, so
I'm gonna swing back over to Captain Eddie and see what he's thinking of gallery and everything tonight. And the conversation that's ensued.
Having a lot of unique input. We get a lot of feedback from our members and ideas. That golden ratio caliper is a simple thing to make, folks. And if you make one, it's a simple pattern, but cut out 2. give one of your friends and explain to them how it works. Because that whole thing, just like JJ said earlier, that's based upon centuries of training and living with shapes. And it's what your eye accepts. I mean, simple ratio is a business card or a 3x5 card. Look at those proportions. We as humans have accepted those to be fair dimensions of images we like. The proportions of columns and the spacing of columns. And even when they build automobiles are built with the golden ratio because the length, the height, the width, and all that, if you relate them all, otherwise they look like a box and they don't have any design or flow to them.
And we're trained that way from birth because Mother Nature grows things in the golden ratio and using the Fibonacci sequences. And you look at a pine cone and that's the Fibonacci sequence, and you look at the spiral and the golden ratio is everywhere. So all our lives, it's what we see and it's what we equate to natural beauty. And you're right, the Greeks and folk and the Russian and the Romans all studied it very seriously, and all the classic, yep, and all the classic timeless Greek urns and stuff that we have in museums, they're all built on the golden ratio. So
it's pleasing to the eye. It's what we accept. And there's nothing more awkward than if you turn something that's a nice vessel and you put the cut for the lid at the wrong place. Okay, I'm going to put the cut right here. Wrong place. Center line? No. I've worked with too many people who said that's off center. It wasn't supposed to be on center. It was supposed to be something pleasing to the eye. Same with the height and the width, and with the height of the finial, and the proportions of the finial. All those lines must come together and create a nice, pleasing thing. Remember, the most distracting thing of the outside of a bowl is in the curve if it's got a flat spot. What are you going to see first? Are you going to see the curve? No. When you roll it into the light and the glint comes off of it, you're going to see the flat spot. Same thing with all the other portions. If you have a little fat bump on your finale that goes up, you're going to see that little fat spot. It's going to stand out. If the top gets too skinny, your eye's going to go to the skinny part and say, gee, why did they try that? Well, it's a nice challenge for you and I if we want to turn something super thin, but have it be in proportion to your pieces. And you could be here all day and all night and talk and chat about design and art and all this, but all you have to do in the bottom line is draw it out. Just draw it out. And if it's pleasing to your eye, it would be pleasing to my eye. It's if you have to fix yourself on liking it, there's a problem. If there's a bump in the road, there's a bump in the road. I belonged to a couple of groups and went to a couple of groups where their thing was, we're not going to work on turning, we're going to work on art. Well, here's the big news, folks. I and nobody else can teach you art. Art's in your heart, in your mind. You're born with it. You have it or you don't have it. But you have to make it pleasing. And if you try to fix your work to go to somebody else's work, it won't work. Fix your work to go to something that's pleasing to you. You never have to make me happy with what you turn. We talked about that. JJ talked about it. Whatever you turn is your art. How am I going to say it's not beautiful art? It is all beautiful art. I want to see what your art is, see what you go through, see how you design it, see how you come up with these techniques and these styles. In our gallery, I've seen some gorgeous pieces come up, and then I'll say, where is the break for the lid? Did you place it such that you concealed it to where I don't see, or the joint is there, but it disappeared because in the flow of the work, the joint became part of the art, not an outstanding feature? Say, whoa, wait, what? You know, if it's even and smooth and crisp, and there's a second one to relate to it, which one is the break? Which one's not the break? Same thing with when you do wire burning and beating and marking and such. You know, those are the bring out our disguise flaws and accent features. And if you play with it, you'll see it. Matt Harbour does a fantastic job of taking oddities that you find in the work and not concealing them, but using them for accents to make a piece glow and stand out. He had that piece today, and it was a 50-50 split. Spray it and clear and make it look pretty, or go for it. My thing is, how am I going to tell an artist what to do to his piece? And how am I going to tell him what would look the best? I don't know his capabilities. And trust me, I don't want to question the capabilities. I want to see what they are and see what he comes up with. And I'm thinking with that piece with all those facets on it, you know, if I could do some shadow spraying and some side to side for coloring, and then knock off all the highs, etc., to make it look like it will, when you turn it, it looks like it moves and dazzles and sparkles and talks to you. Remember, if that's sitting on the table and you walk across the room and it glints at you and watches you as you go by, that's the art of the piece. It happens that way you do a great finish on a piece. When you do an awesome finish on a piece and it talks back to you when you look at it, then you have given it. If you don't have a great finish on it, what did you do? You know, so, and that's what we teach here. That's what we show you. Techniques that make your work polish out just a little bit more. And that's why every time somebody says, can you do this? Can you do that? Why don't you do this? Why didn't you do that? We have a no but guarantee. That's the beauty of this group. We have a no but guarantee. I can look at your work, whatever you show me in gallery, and this goes for the entire club, whatever I show in this gallery, I cannot and will not say, I like your work, but. That but's not permitted. I like your work. I want to see what you turn out. Guess what? My but is, I'm going to steal the better part of your ideas and put them in my work. And then I'm really going to dance. So, you know, the only way I'm going to know is if I can see what you do. Remember to send the photographs of your work to our editor at worldwidewoodturners.org. That's the group. We want to see your stuff. The newsletter is out right now, and it's got beautiful photographs of beautiful work. And if you want to see beautiful work, we're going to sneak on over to Howard's place right now. I think he found that piece. Did you find that piece, Howard?
Found it. Yeah.
Good. Show me.
Right.
Is that what you're talking about?
That's
Yes.
the one.
Show that bottom. Billy loves that bottom piece.
I do. That is pretty.
Sure is.
Right.
Gorgeous piece.
Well, I
Howard.
tell you, I was looking at the pictures on our Facebook site and our Facebook page, and it's an amazing piece.
A lot of work.
How did you do it?
Well, this started out, I had a fellow in Birmingham wanted to learn how to turn, so he came up here one day and he worked, and we worked with him, I worked with him, and he said he's going to come back. Well, a year later, this piece was still sitting over there that he'd been working on. And so I said, I guess he's not going to come back. And so I finished it out and had some wild hair.
Swing by tomorrow.
Yeah.
Sure, and I threw that piece away. Well, let's start again.
That's right.
So I just took it and started playing around with it. And
Now, is that 8 or 1, 2, 3, 4? Is that 8 all the way around? Eight. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I indexed it.
Okay.
And then I cut out some poster boards of shapes and kept fooling around with it. And finally came up with something like that. And so
that's a great idea. I've done that too, where I cut out the poster board of something and used a repeated pattern. That's a great idea.
Yeah, and so this pattern here is the same as this pattern back here, but this is lots larger. And this pattern here is this pattern down here. I don't know if that
Very
makes sense.
cool. Yeah, it does. Very cool.
So,
And it's just pyrography all around, right?
yeah, pyrography. I just did I call it lace work. Kind of looks like lace.
Yeah, it does.
Well, that's what I call it. You know, anybody can call it whatever they want to. I don't care. But that's why
it works. It works really well. It's really nice.
It does. It's really pretty.
Yeah. So, guy
Great
told me, he said,
job.
"Well, why do you cover up the wood? You know, you're covering up the beauty of it." Well, this piece of maple, and all wood's beautiful in my opinion, but hey,
sometimes it needs help.
Yeah, it needs help. And then this need help. So
you should have entered that one in that juried show.
Well, it probably warped or something. Well, no, it's not warped. So yeah, I might do that. Yeah,
that's
you
really
know
pretty,
what?
Howard.
If that guy shows up, just tell him when you left, you'd already finished it.
Yeah, you took that home with you.
And then make him scratch his head.
Bring it back.
Scratch his head, right? So you never paid for that, damn it.
Yeah.
I know. Well done.
Great
Well
piece.
done, Howard. I'm glad you showed it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks
nice.
for pushing him, Billy.
Yeah.
Amen. All right.
I've
Does
got
anybody
nobody-
else have any?
Yeah, Dane, I've got nobody else on the list.
Hey,
Oh,
I got
no.
one. I got something else that I just finished.
Okay.
I've kind of gone nuts on these shields and things. So this
Yeah, I
piece
remember
of
seeing
mahogany, and I got it thinned down to I guess 3/16, something like that.
Wow.
And,
Wow. Holy smokes. That's
so-
amazing, Howard.
So I did some piercing
Wow.
in here, piercing out here, and did some coloring on it.
Are you like a wizard?
Well, let's see. Let me put my hat on.
I can see your right shoulder through your piece. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah.
Did you
Oh
use
my
scroll
God.
saw on that or what?
He's magic.
Yeah, he's
No, he pierced it, Craig.
I'm sorry.
Pierced
That's
it,
what I
Craig.
was gonna say. He's a wizard.
What was that,
I
Dane?
don't think so, but anyway, that's the back of it. I kind of think that's better looking than this, but I don't know.
So
Well,
they're both fine.
that was scroll saw.
No, I pierced it.
Oh my God.
I got a little NSK. Is it NSK dental drill thing?
Yep.
And
That's what it is.
And just
So from the outside where your right fingers are right now, where your right fingers are, okay,
Yeah.
so that gets done what first? So you work yourself in or you work yourself out?
I work myself out.
Okay.
Is that wrong?
No, I don't think so.
I don't
Need
know.
that.
I was afraid if I start out here, this is kind of, these are small, and I could really break that easy.
Beer, right?
Yeah.
Not much.
Just
holding
whatever works best for you, probably.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, that's, I don't know if
Okay.
I,
You know, Howard, you can make several of them and hang them on a string and then be, you know, an Alabama dream catcher.
hey, we might need it this year, you know. I tell you, wow.
Yeah. And
Right.
it'll cost about $8,000.
I don't
Sounds
know.
about right. How are you going to buy the first one?
I'll tell you what, that thing is. I mean, oh my God! How, you know what? I don't even have words. I mean, look how pretty. It's just so
Oh,
pretty.
I know.
This was
I don't have any words to say. It's so pretty.
This was a thicker piece, and so I turned it, put a tenon on both sides, and then I split it down half. I sawed it in half, and then I think I showed the other half last week or week before last. But anyway, but it does look look anything like this.
Well, I'll tell you what, that leaf looks like, I guess it's like a leaf. Oh my God. I mean, there aren't any words to explain this. Just beautiful.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
There
Great
really
job.
is. Oh,
About
my
time
God.
about time I get finished with this, I'm about ready to throw it away, Yeah,
Yeah, right.
took me about 3 weeks on this. So, well,
So
lots
you
of
get any of these pieces you decide you're going to throw away, Howard, I'll pay you postage to send them to me.
okay, but don't hold your breath.
Yeah.
My wife killed me. But it took me about 3 weeks because I keep changing it up and racing and starting over and start having wild ideas. And usually what I do, I finally end up with how I want to start with begin. So it's crazy.
3 weeks just drawing it out, making your drawing changes.
Yeah, and starting work on it, then I get a crazy idea and do it and everything, and then I modify that and then redo it, and then I end up with exactly what I had in mind to start with, which is crazy. But anyway.
Yeah, it's something else. Love your stuff. You very creative with everything you do, like that pyro and the piercing.
That is so pretty. That is so pretty.
Oh,
that is super pretty.
It might, you sell it and air going through it might go, but I'm not going to do that on the thing.
Oh, you could take all the.
I got too much investment.
Take all the colorations off of it, and just do the the raw wood design, and you could sell it as an air fryer platter.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I just turn it this way and do that.
Got all the air going through the platter.
Yeah.
Air fryer.
Air flowers.
Air flowers. There you go. There you go. Air flowers.
I guess, or leaves, whatever they are. I don't know what they are. Tentacles or something. I don't.
Yeah.
Crazy ideals. Okay. That's all.
Right on. It's always great. It's always an adventure every week, Howard.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Well, let's swing over to the webmaster. Hopefully he's still sitting there and see if he has any updates for the website. There he is.
See if I can. Yeah, there you go. You should be able to hear me at the moment.
Yeah, we got
there aren't a lot of updates to the website at the moment. I mean, we have our weekly updates, but I do want to mention again that we do have a new way of getting the list. The list is no longer available directly on the website, and there is a reason. We've been having a little bit of problems with people being smart Alex and hacking in, and they haven't actually been hacking in so much as requesting. Someone's been requesting the contact list, and when they ask for the contact list, they have then been putting random email addresses in it. So suddenly people that have no idea who we are have been receiving these random email lists. And they contacted the website host and said, why are you spamming the world? So we're no longer going to be allowed to spam the world. Now, if you want to get a contact list, please contact me or make a request on Facebook or put something in the chat that says, please send me a contact list. We have them available, but that way the only one that gets spammed, so to speak, will be me. And again, the reason we're having that happen is previously I allowed someone to say, let me have one, and the automation simply used whatever address you put in. And that could have been anybody's address. I had never thought about that before as a silly way to be a pain in the neck, but we have solved the problem. Now I will get messages from whoever wants it. And if that's some smart aleck and he wants to send 400 of them, I'll get 400 requests. But at least the website will not be spamming the world.
Very good.
Anyone has a suggestion on how to get around that, because I gather there are a few people out there that are web folks, I keep hearing. If you've had this sort of problem and you've solved the problem in the past, let me know what you did, because I can't think of a way around getting that sort of thing. And I'm not quite sure why people have been doing that to us. We must just be terribly entertaining to someone.
They got nothing better to do.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And I'm going to assume that it's not being done in an automated way because, well, I guess it could be.
Yeah, I'll tell you what you do is pretty good. Very good.
Oh, and
Yeah, that it is.
What you do
and
is pretty good.
And I guess I should point out, someone was mentioning, let me see if I can share the website at the moment. And I will go over some of the things we do have available at the moment. Let's see, there we go. Let's screen share that page right there. And I hope you can now see that page.
Yes.
And what I'm going to say is, if you can see that page, how come I can't move it? I can't move it up. Let me move it up. There we go. I can move it up now and I can see it too. We do have things on the template page that might be worthwhile for you. We were discussing earlier that, or we weren't discussing it, but I think that Matt made the comment that we have the calipers down here. So if you want it and you need it in the SVG format, which would be for a CNC type machine, or you want it in some other format, we have it in a few different formats. So do make yourself a set of golden ratio calipers. They're available here for you. Trying to think of what other things we have available at the moment. If you've got something cute and it's a pattern that you've been using, send it to me, because I hate to say it, but there are a lot of people out there making a lot of cute things, but I'm not making a copy of the pattern. If you send me a copy of a pattern that you think has been cute and somebody else wants to make it, I'd appreciate it, because I will add it to the page. It'll remind people that, oh, I can make a bird, or I can make an owl, or I could make a whatever, a lantern in the case of this one. And also notice we have the Martel calipers. Billy Burt provided. So do look up these sort of things. We have a lot of strange stuff out here. Do I really mean strange? I don't think I mean strange. Interesting.
Interesting and exciting, yes.
Interesting and exciting. For example, we have the tippy top, and it explains how the tippy top works. We were talking about tippy tops the other day, and we were saying, well, those are a little hard and a little strange. How do they work? We got this from Cade. He explained how his tippy top works and how you should put it together so it works the best. So these things are available out here. Also, if you want, I hope Eddie doesn't mind, but we've got his Black Hawk gauge out here. I don't think that he minds, does he? No, and we've got the Raptor-like jig here. You need one of those to help you set up? They're available here. Also, we have quite a few gallery items but I'm not doing nearly as well as Joaquin is doing. This should be updated in the next day or two. It'll have whatever was the item in the newsletter last go round. So you'll have a new item coming up here. We also have the option to get a cap if you weren't aware of it. We haven't talked about that in a long time. We also have the option to order a t-shirt. We have the stickers. We have the embroidery. If you happen to have an embroidery machine, if you happen to want to have the newsletter and an old one, they should be listed here. And if you need a chat, the chats are sitting right here. So please come and grab those sort of things. I've updated the business card. Somebody was making the comment that the business card that I had up there was kind of low resolution. So I made this one 600 BPI. So this should be pretty high resolution when you print it. And you should feel a little better about it. Again, we have Mark Soleil is doing liquidation. We don't normally advertise for anybody, but in this particular case, Mark Soleil is really trying to empty his warehouses. So be aware you can call Mark. There's his phone number. I don't normally put individual phone numbers on, but Mark likes to be called rather than any other source of contact. So please do give him a call. We haven't been getting much activity on the barter board.
No.
If you need something, if you have something you want to barter, please contact us. There can be something you might want or need or have available for bartering. If you do, there's the place to, if you have suggestions and we're not in the meeting and you want to make some suggestions, please feel free to come in here and add your suggestions or ask for suggestions. We really ought to make this board a little more, it'd really be nice if we could make this much more active. Let's see if I can get back where I want to go. It doesn't want to let me back. How did I do that? How did I get myself into a state that doesn't want to go back?
It opened up a new
Oh,
page.
is that what it is? Does that mean you can't see what I'm doing?
No, so go back to your up on top. No.
There we go.
Pick a different tab. Is that what you're saying,
It opened up.
If it's a different tab, it shouldn't have automatically gone to it, should it? Let's see what happens if I do open the other tabs.
It's to the right. To your right, up on top on your tabs.
No, that's going to YouTube, and I'm going to have to slow this, make this a little smaller so I can get to it. There it is. There it is.
There you
Can
go.
we still see it by any chance?
Yeah.
My problem was I've got a bar up across the top that doesn't let me grab things.
Okay.
You don't see the bar that's on top, but I do, and it blocks my
you've got three
access.
Worldwide Woodturners tabs open.
Yeah. Also, if you happen to have a YouTube channel, please let me know if you have a YouTube channel for somebody that's not a member and you think it's worthwhile us notifying people about it. If you have a website, let me know about that. If you have an Instagram, let me know about that. Also, we have something here that's not quite finished. What I mean is, at one time we said we'd like to know about how people do finishes, and we were going to do some little shorthand thing. We didn't get a lot here. We got generic comments. I like to use this lacquer or that oil. Yeah, but what we were actually hoping to have is a little more information about how to do it. So if you've got an explanation on how to do something and you want to send it in to me as a quick list of how to, please do. We'll add that to the list.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah.
On that Minwax antique oil, my name's Howard, not Harold.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I will fix that right after the meeting.
Thank you.
I apologize.
That's okay.
Let's see.
At least you didn't put down what my wife calls me.
Ah,
Okay. We also have a very short list of items here that are frequently asked questions. And if you have something that you have as a question that you'd like me to add to this list, let me know. I will add some questions that might be considered frequently asked. And we have things under here like this item from Mark. I've got several of these in here on how to sharpen by various people that have been giving us information. Guess I could actually take some of the items that we've been getting during the main part of the meeting, but I'm not doing that. I'm allowing you to look those things up right here. For example, if you want to find all the demos, you can find all the demos, and we have a problem again. I've got that bar in the way. Okay, well, over here, you get a list of all the demos we've had up to now. So if you want to find a demo and you've got a vague idea what the date was, how many months back, how many years back, you can find it here as well as going to YouTube. I'm pretty sure most of the people are going to YouTube to do this, but I'm going to point out very quickly that we also have a list of presenters. So if you know who the presenter was for a particular item, you should be able to find it here quicker. For example, if we want to know something that Tim Hatch provided, or Greg Bray, or Joaquin provided, we've got these things here. Doug Rowe, which reminds me, we've been missing a few people lately. We ought to find out how Dean Grimes is doing.
Dean is
Along with
remodeling a house.
He's
doing fine.
remodeling a house. That's what's going on. I was thinking about Kim recently too. I haven't heard from her in a long time.
I have seen her on Facebook occasionally. So she is still knocking about and she is sort of paying attention, but they've had their own major issues
Opportunities,
also.
right.
Yep.
Okay. Anyway, so we've got all the demos and we have articles here. We have articles that have been coming in, and I'm slowly adding the articles as they end up in the newsletter. So you should be able to find the old items out of the newsletter here, and we're getting quite a few pages of them now. We're now up to 4 pages of newsletter items and past articles. So if you're trying to find something that's in the newsletter that's an article, you can find them right here. We had some tips and tricks coming in. So we've got tips and tricks sitting here. You should be able to find them. All you have to do is click right here and you'll find out what some of the tips and tricks are.
200 of them there.
So please, if you're looking for these things, again, you can automatically go over to YouTube, or you can come to this website and you should be able to find it.
Great work, Dave. Thanks for putting all this together. That's a lot. Wow.
Oh, and we've got some recovery items too that need to be updated. All right. I think that's about it for the website for today. Again, do remember that we do have the meetings. The meetings are listed here, the last 3 meetings. are always listed here, and the newsletter is available. If you need the newsletter, please do come over and look at it. I'm gonna show you that you also have a list of all the newsletters down there. You click that button. Oh, what happened? Uh-oh, I've got a problem. Got to find out what my bug is that's preventing the newsletters from listing. I wonder if I've exceeded the number of items I had allocated. Well, I'll find out. The newsletters will be available in that list shortly.
It
I'll
worked
find that
fine for
out
me
tonight.
when I went there a while ago.
Pardon me?
Yeah, I saw it also.
Yeah, it worked fine for me when I went there a little while ago.
Okay, I'm not sure why it's not working for me, but it's certainly not. So you should be able to find all the old newsletters.
Oh, it's not working for me right now. I'm using Firefox.
Uh-huh. Okay,
So
I
I can
will
only
check it out
I
and
can
find
see
out
the
why
I
it's
can
not working. It's I'm using
I can see today's newsletter, and great job on that, Joaquin, but I
yeah,
cannot see the
I
last
can't see
ones.
the backups. I don't know what it is. That was happening earlier today, also over on the main page. I'm not sure what's happening at the moment, but
Yeah, I can't see them now
these
either.
weren't
They were there a while
showing
ago.
up down there. There's the newsletters, so they are available. So they're theoretically available in 2 different locations. I don't know why it's not showing up on the other page. I will find out. That's pretty much it. And it's 7:05, so I think we're about ready to go to after
Yeah,
hours.
I agree. Great information there. Thanks for flipping through on all that stuff there, Dave.
My pleasure.
You do an amazing job on keeping all that together for us. I so greatly appreciate it. I know Eddie appreciates it, and I know the rest of the club really appreciates it. So with that, top of the hour, depending upon how fast your clock is. Mine's accurate. It says 7:05 as well. So this will be the demarcation point for the official meeting.